Ladies and gentlemen, single ladies across the nation, this is the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. I am one of your hosts, the one and only Pink Sparkle Puff. I'm joined today by Atty the Hero. Alex has been abducted. He tried to raid Area 51 after the confirmation of aliens. I mean, very legitimate confirmation of aliens. And we've not seen him since.
Uh,
We just got him back after he got like kidnapped last week, and then he went to Area 51, got abducted once again. So we're kind of waiting on that.
yeah, he thought Naruto running would save him from the guards.
It did not.
Turns
It
out,
did
it turns out
not.
after the raid, the army has been training the army people, the soldiers, to counter Naruto running.
Right. They did their own Naruto ninja arts to counter it. It
Yeah,
was wild. You know, we were watching him from the van because we drove him over there, and we thought he had it. We thought he'd be fine. It was not fine, but me and Addie were able to drive out of there with haste. I mean, we're surely being monitored by the FBI right now and other
I mean, you
various
you say you say
military
that like
organizations.
you say that like you've earned before.
Oh, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point. Well, yeah, this is episode 292 of the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. Um, what do we say after this? It's the channel stuff, right?
Uh,
What do I have coming
yes.
out on my channel? Yes, I've got stuff coming out on my channel. As per the usual, there's going to be NXT Universe Mode coming out on my channel. There's going to be some of that. What was the other thing I'm uploading? Street Fighter 6. That's what it is. Street Fighter 6 also set to come out on the channel. I'm probably going to make a parody satire type of tier list for Street Fighter 6 as well in the future. I haven't recorded it yet. I've got a little script written up though,
Ah,
so I might do that this week. I might not do it at all. We'll see. I really want to do it though because it's gonna be funny. But I'm coming down with an illness right now, so there's a chance I won't be able to. We'll see. We'll see how long I can ward off the cold. Let's see. Aside from the usual assortment of things that I have up on my channel or coming up on my channel, I might have Dead by Daylight with Mike and Alex set to come up this week. I don't remember if I got that up last week or if I've got stuff in the back on the back burner. I'll have to double check because I've not been keeping up too closely with what I've got because I've been very very busy. But if I don't have any Dead by Daylight with them, I might eventually get more recorded over the week because eventually someday I'm probably going to play with Mike again, and we'll see if Alex joins in. Depends on the time that we're all online. And Nicolas Cage released this, I think this week. It was this week or this past week. Nicolas Cage was added to the game. So even if I don't play with Mike, I still want to do a couple videos with Nick Cage because I just think it's funny. I mean, everyone and their grandmother is doing that right now as well, but still, I want a little piece of that pie, even if it's just a crumb. And that should wrap up everything on my end. So, Ate, what do you have coming out on your channel?
well, nothing for the time being. I have started scripting the next review. I don't know if that will. I don't even know if that will get made. The last one I made that took a month of actual work, aside from the 4 months that it actually took to make. you know,
Yeah,
still like, that one just nothing. Like no views, nothing.
no respect.
And like if I'm spending an actual month of work on a video, I would kind of hope that it would get more than nothing.
I feel the same way, but I spend a lot less time on my videos.
I mean, the difference is like an LP. If I make like an LP video or whatever, and no one watches it, whatever. That only took me as long as like the recording time plus like watching it once, because I caught out the dead air and shit.
Right.
A review takes time because I have to play through a game twice. I have to record it one of those times. I have to write a script. I have to record that script. I have to make sure that the take isn't shit when I record the script.
Yeah.
and it's just a lot higher effort than doing LPs and shit, which is why. But mostly, I've been focusing on this channel because it's easier. It also gets results comparatively.
Right. Right.
But you know, sometimes I'm like, hey, I want to talk about this game and I want to go into like the depths of it and just do a proper presentation and shit. But once again, like if nothing comes out of it, then why should I?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of
I can understand those feelings.
so like I'm gonna make a Hail Mary. It's not really a Hail Mary, but whatever. But the next one I'm reviewing is Street Fighter 6 because it's in vogue. It's gonna be in vogue for a while. It's
Yeah.
something that I can actually talk about because I have experience with it. I have experience with the previous games, and I mean technically I'm an intermediate level player, allegedly. So you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, that then I have also come across another video that I might make a YouTube poop out of. I'm not sure yet. YouTube has made it harder to get the footage,
Uh-oh.
so that might be an issue. Also, I'm just not sure because the video that I would be editing is already pretty funny. And I'm not sure how much I can quote unquote improve on it. You know,
Yeah.
so like even if I can get the footage, it might just get cancelled because I just look at it and I go, well, this just became worse actually than the source video.
Right.
And you know, like usually whenever you make these things, I mean, it depends on what you use as your source, but generally use a source that's boring because then it's not competing with itself. Then you're not competing with the source.
Oh.
Like you know, people use like infomercials and shit because infomercials aren't necessarily funny inherently, you know.
Yeah.
But then you edit the infomercial, so it's the guy, I'm forgetting his name, the Shenvao guy talking about chopping off his nuts, and then you know that it's funnier.
Right.
But yeah, usually I don't really see people editing comedic content. It's more informative content made it to be comedic rather than comedic content trying to be edited to be more comedic. So who knows?
Right. That makes sense.
Who knows if I can actually like get something out of that? Then with Street Fighter 6, the review and all that, I thought about streaming the arcade modes. Problem with that is that depending on how I do it, because like you know, I could just do a normal playthrough and I could blitz through a normal playthrough, no problem because it's a normal playthrough. But I also thought about doing it on the hardest difficulty, which eventually means that I have to face up against like a level 8 AI. Level 8 AI, Pink, knows how to play the game very well, better than me.
That's not good.
Yeah, I mean level 8 AI. I don't know if they tweaked it since the demo, but a lot of tournament players put up videos when the demo came out of, hey, I beat level 8 AI. Look at me. It fucking sucked. It took me an hour. So you know that level of stuff, and like I think it was tuned down a bit because the level 8 AI is you know like a smidge better than the people I face online. Is the way I'd put it. Is and you know I would assume that tournament level players wouldn't have a problem with people who are slightly better than me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But even still, you know, it's one of those things where like depending on which character I'd use, I'd probably be fine. You know, for with the characters that I know how to use. But then like you know, okay, let's fight like level 8 Guile as Dalsim,
Right.
and yeah,
Probably not gonna be a good time.
yeah, no, and like I could. Like, once again, I could attempt these. I could probably beat them. I could, if nothing else, do a boss rage like Maximilian Dude does, where it's literally just I'm gonna go through this arcade mode. I will beat it. I don't care how long it takes. You know, like basically the thing that we did with Sagat. Just
Yeah.
do that. But the problem with that is that eventually I will shut up because I'm very angry and I need to concentrate to be able to hit moves.
Right.
So I don't know if that's one of those things where I don't know if that I don't know if I want to can that just because it would rely on having someone else there to commentate as well.
Uh-huh.
Because like the you know the thing here is that like I could be like, hey, do you want to help me do the stream where you just watch me play and talk, so I don't have to whenever I need to shut up. But then like then it's not me streaming, is it? you know.
Right. Yep.
Then it just got into the same problem we've been having of scheduling.
True.
Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that more because like I would like to do more solo content, but for one, I enjoyed the stream format. No one, like the only one who actually interacted with it was W, and I only really enjoyed it when there was someone to bounce off of because the reason that I try to do streaming is because doing solo LPs is boring mainly. Like if you
Yeah.
can't keep a conversation with yourself about the game, then it's boring. And while I can keep a conversation with myself, it's mostly qualitative like observations. So it's basically like doing a live review, and I don't think that's quite the entertainment people want.
Right.
Because usually when like when I play games alone, we all have this bug. I have transported to you all as well. I'm pretty sure, or at least W, as I said that he has this problem too. But even when I play a game alone off recording, I'm commentating in my head.
Yeah.
But like, there's maybe a funny quip once every 40 hours. So like for me to be entertaining, I feel like I need something or someone to bounce off of, and Revengeance like suffices sometimes. Revengeance can be a good source of that, but I also have no control over Revengeance. Revengeance just kind of happens whenever I'm bored. Sometimes. So yeah, I'm not sure what exactly I could do to make all of that work out. And then once again, solo stuff I would like to do, and then like I enjoyed doing Songbird Symphony, for example. So I played through Songbird Symphony on recording for a review that has since come out and also been deleted
Ah.
because I didn't like it, and I will need to revisit it sometime. But yeah, Songbird Symphony, the playthrough was fun, but it was also like there was also a game that I played through in 2 sessions, in two like pretty much full day sessions, and I just cut down the sessions into whatever was funny, and that's how you got like maybe 2 videos out of it. So like once again, it really feels like I need a crutch to stand on with that, and once again, streaming could give that, but I'm not sure how the fuck you actually make it so people can see the stream, or how to entice people to interacting with the stream. And I am not going to Twitch just for now.
Fair.
Like
Fair.
I have I have had enough problems and enough grief with YouTube. I know mostly, well, no, I have a vague idea of how YouTube works and what YouTube allows and what YouTube doesn't allow. Whenever I hear about Twitch's similar rulings, it's just whichever mod is in your chat, if any, and that's not consistent enough for me to be able to be like, hey, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can keep doing with these things, and then whatever.
Yeah.
Which like if I wanted a quick track to getting some sort of interaction with the stream, I would just move it to Twitch because I mean that's where people go to watch streams mainly.
Yeah. Well, what about Mixer, Addy? We love Mixer.
Mixer is dead.
No!
Don't you remember?
I do.
But technically, Mixer is not that. Mixer is Facebook,
That's even worse.
isn't it? But yeah, if you in case you don't remember, the viewer, I guess, what happened with Mixer was well, first it was Beam for one, but what happened with Mixer was Microsoft went, shit, the streaming thing actually takes a lot of money. I didn't think about this, and they sold off to Facebook, the tech. They shut down Mixer, and then Facebook implemented it into their gaming app or whatever the fuck they called it. So basically, if you watch a live stream on Facebook, it is Mixer, but it's the like corpse of Mixer reanimated. So yeah, that's it for my channels, I guess. So something will come out eventually. My usual motto. I should probably just change my change the my channel description to that. Something will come out will come out eventually. Because I always say this, but I mean, like, there's no other ways that I can think about it. I don't want to rush things, and sometimes I just wake up and I go, I don't want to exist. So it usually whenever you're in one of those moods, you're not gonna like be jovial on a video.
True.
So yeah, what have you been up to, Pink?
What have I been up to? Well, on my end, it's been a lot of the usual stuff, always playing that 2K23 because I got to make that content, boyo. But a lot of my week was spent doing real life stuff that is somewhat important because I've been working at the current job that I have for about 6 months now, and I've hated it, and I wanted to get out,
What made you hate it? I
so I
guess.
was.
If
What made me hate it?
yeah.
The fact that technologically speaking, in contrast to the place where I previously worked at, it's like the Stone Age.
Ah.
So the retail store I worked at prior was very streamlined, very high tech, very, very easy to use, easy to manipulate. I was also given a very independent role out there. Then when I moved to Texas, I got a new job at a new retail place, and I thought, you know, it's just retail. All retail jobs should be somewhat the same. It shouldn't be that drastically different. And it was quite drastically different. The way this company works is much different than the way my previous company worked. I no longer have that independent capacity to do what needs to be done. I legitimately spend how long are my shifts? We'll just say they're 8 hours. I don't know if they're 8 hours or not. But let's say I've got an 8 hour shift.
Yeah.
I'd say 7.5 hours of the day I am doing that shift with somebody in close proximity to me because that lady that I work with is the quote unquote I don't know what to call her. She's not my boss. She's how do I phrase? Well, here's the thing. The position that she has is pricing specialist, which that's not a manager. That's not really anything important. That's just the person who does the
Pricing,
tags.
yeah.
Yes,
Like,
for all the pricing.
that to me sounds like a position like the surface technician.
Yes,
Where like we made you a job. Congrats.
right. It's a fairly complex job, but not so complex that any idiot off the street couldn't do it because I can do it. But yeah, my job position is DSD, which is the direct store delivery receiver. So I'm the one dealing with all the vendors who come in. Free to Leg comes in, and brings me chips, and I accept them and I eat them, and they're good. And my secondary job position, because apparently I get one, is backup price changing specialist. Now, backup should indicate that the price changing specialist shouldn't really need me at all times. But this price changing specialist really needs me at all times, and I hate it because I don't like working with her. She's very hard to talk to because she's older. She's very gossipy. She's very she has conversations with herself basically because if she wants to talk with me, she'll start up a conversation and then she'll just take the whole conversation away. And I could maybe try to get a word in edgewise every now and again, but it's not going to work. Trust me. She's just very hard to work with. It's very hard for me to get any of my opinions forward, any of my ideas forward. She has her way of doing things, and she's not prone to change. So I'm basically handcuffed in what I can do on the price changing side, and then on the DSD side, the vendor side, it's just straight up boring. I love the vendors. There are a lot of great people that do that work, and they're great. But for me, if a good chunk of my day, and I'm sure this doesn't sound like something I should be complaining about, but a good chunk of my day is spent standing next to the doors, the back doors that we open to let trucks in and out, just waiting there, waiting and watching the door.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is abysmal.
See, like I
That
can
is,
I can relate because of the printing press job that I had for how long I had
yeah,
it. Where it was like
yeah,
very when my boss just comes in and like, why are you not working? Meanwhile, all of the machines are running and I literally can't do anything.
right. Like I can't do anything until they've brought in the product for me to scan, and then scanning takes all of like maybe 15 minutes at most, depending on the vendor. Some of them are obviously going to be quicker, like Mission Free Delay, not Free Delay. Free Delay actually takes a long time. But any tortilla guys, any bread guys, and all the stuff like that, they're very quick. Then I get people like Pepsi or Coca Cola, where they're bringing in like 3 or 4 pallets per load, and so that takes a little while to go through as a vendor because I got to count all the stuff, make sure everything that's on the invoice is actually on the pallets. So that part of the job is fun when it happens. It doesn't happen with enough frequency that I feel like I need to be working a long ass shift where most of my shift is also doing the price changing stuff. It's very frustrating because again, when I get the independence that I want, I'm checking in things for about 15 minutes. Then I go back to working with the price changing specialist for the rest of my shift, and it's abysmal because again, I'll scream it from the rooftops. I don't like working with this person. Not a fun individual to be around. Very complainy, very lazy. Just I can't stand it. And she's made it clear that she's not going to retire for another 5 years, and she's very comfortable in the position she's at. So it's like, where do I move from there? Because
Yeah.
my logical next step would be to take over her position. I don't really want the position though, because it's boring. One of the things I do in the price changing specialist position, and backup price changing specialist, because I'm not actual price changer. Uh, when we get the tags in, we then enter a computer software program, and we spend our shift typing in all the UPC codes into the computer to see if it's a product we actually carry or not. And it's abysmal because the chair is not comfortable. The computer room is a closet.
The
The
comp-
closet, the closet is, I'd say around 30 degrees because there's a big ass cooler in there. So it's a cold room, a small room. I'm stuck in there conversing with this old woman who's very gossipy, very dramatic, very whiny and lazy, and all that other fun stuff. And it's long ass story short. It is not the place I want to be. It's not the place I'm going to be because I'm moving.
yeah. That,
So
that's fair. Also, was the PC made before us?
honestly, the computer itself isn't that old. I'd say it's probably a 2010s model,
Ah,
so not like an old clunky desktop thing. But the software program that they use for the ordering and the tags and all that, that is also from about 2009, 2010, I would say.
See, that's still new. The grocer that I tried to, well, the grocer that I looked at to try and work at, uh but they didn't have free spaces. There was no parking. No, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, there was no spot to fill. Yeah, just looking at their stuff from outside, like, they have touch screens for the what you call it, the monitors that they use to check whatever they're calling in. It's fairly easy to tell that the software they're running is like maybe 95 or Windows XP level, but that's the highest that I can think of. Like, if that shit is running at
Right,
anything newer than Windows XP, I am surprised,
right.
because like it legitimately looks like a DOS program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not far off from what we got at the current store I'm working at. But yeah, I don't like it there. Didn't like it there, I should say. So I decided on a whim. I'd been keeping my eyes out for job openings on the internet for a couple months now, but a couple weeks ago, just on a whim, I went to the website for the company that I used to work for back in Oregon, because they don't have that specific store out here, but they've got other stores that are under the same parent company, if that makes
Ah,
sense.
yeah, yeah,
Should
yeah. There's
Yeah.
subsidiaries.
Yeah, yeah. So check the actual company website for job openings in the area. Not my area specifically, because I don't have any of their stores near me, but in an area where I could live nearby. A city that's about 35, 40 minutes away.
Yeah,
So I checked there, and they did have an opening. They had several openings, in fact. One of which was for an overnight grocery position. I was like, hey, I've done that before. I'd love to do it again. Let's apply. I applied, and I waited just a little bit, and then I got an email a few days later that said, hey, we're happy you applied here. We tried to contact you on your cell phone, but you've got terrible cell reception because you're using a Pacific Northwest cell provider in Texas, and you're not going to have reception for 95% of the day. So call us back when you get the chance. I was like, oh darn, I need to get a new cell reception service thing. But yeah, I called them back eventually on Monday because the HR manager, whatever you want to call her, she was out for the weekend, and I was planning to call her on Monday anyway. She called me, and I answered the call. They set up an interview, and all that leads into Tuesday and Wednesday, where I had the actual interview. Met up with the lady. She was great. She had about a 30-minute interview with me, I'd say, which was fun. We discussed everything. I was telling them all my problems. No, I wasn't. But I made it very clear that their company was where I wanted to be to begin with, but I didn't have one nearby when I moved to Texas, so I couldn't transfer. But now that I'm sort of nearby, I wanted back in. And she said, great, because they're always usually trying to actively hire the people with work experience specifically, and more importantly, with work experience with their company that want back in, because she said, quote unquote, those are the people who will probably stay, and they don't want a high turnover rate or anything. They want their employees to actually stay and work there.
yeah.
So it seemed to me like I had
You
a
you've been marked down as
kind of
forever stuck
decent.
here.
Right, right, right. But yeah, interview went well, and the next day, she said she was going to be talking with her managers the next couple of days, and then she'd get back to me on what position she could then have me fill for the store. Uh, it seemed like she was wanting to put me in the meat department, which would have been fine. I've never worked with meat before. That's actually one of the places where I don't have any experience, but I was willing to learn it. But on Friday, yesterday, They actually got back with me and said, "Hey, we love you. Please come work with us as our new dairy clerk or dairy manager." I
I
don't know.
don't know why I thought you were gonna say, "Please come work with us as our new Dairy Queen."
As our new dairy queen, yes. So, yeah, I'm gonna be the new dairy queen. It's gonna be great.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, and that was what I spent most of my Friday afternoon doing. I was filling out the paperwork and applications and background check stuff
Yeah,
for the position so they can go put that into their computer systems, get that squared away, and then eventually they're gonna contact me once again and get everything settled and decide on when my starting date is. I now need to go deliver my 2 weeks notice to the place I'm currently working at. I'm sure they're gonna be upset. I won't be, but life goes on. So
I
yeah,
imagine imagining that like I don't know if you have to give a reason for a 2 weeks notice, because like when I gave my 2 weeks notice, that was only a formality. And it wasn't properly official because I wasn't properly officially employed to begin with.
right,
But
right.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if for a 2 weeks notice you need to give a reasoning for why you're leaving or not. I assume that if you do, then you'll just attach a picture of the your senior.
Right. I should do that. No, that would be mean. I'm not that mean. I'm pretty nice, I like to think. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, because I'm pretty sure the company I work at is an at will store, which means at will you can quit at any time. People have
Ah,
like the day they signed on or not signed on. That makes it sound like a contract. The day they've been hired,
yeah,
we've had people walk out. We've had several people work there for a week and then quit. The price changing specialist that I work under, or not work under, work with. Uh, her nephew, I think it is. I don't remember how tree lines work or anything, family trees work, but I want to say it was her nephew. He got hired as a grocery stocker, and he worked for about a month, and then he just stopped showing up to work. So
nice.
so
Yeah,
some people just don't give reasons at all. They don't give 2 weeks notices. They just decide, nope, I'm not showing up.
I just ghosted my workplace. AMA.
LMAO, AMA.
Yeah,
I'm not the kind of person to just ghost my workplace. Plus, even though it's so technologically backwards and I hate it there and I hate most of the things about that workplace, there are good people in that store. I really enjoy, or I really like my one of my food managers. He's been great. Store manager, she wasn't as bad as the one I had up in Fred Meyer up in Oregon, but that manager that I had, that store manager, he was a real piece of crap. I hope he's dead.
okay. I mean,
I can say that because Alex is not here.
yeah.
But yeah,
Something corporations
I,
have feelings. Uh,
right,
I
right,
don't know.
something. But my saddest part about leaving that store up in Oregon was the fact that that store manager wasn't in charge. Because if he were, I totally would have just flipped into double birds and walked out of the store, head held high, maybe my pants taken off. I don't know. But yeah, he left the store a little before I moved out to Texas, so I had to submit my resignation under a different store manager, which was sad because I didn't get to know that store manager all that well. He was there for like a month before I left, but he seemed nice.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
Speaking of store
yeah.
managers, I just remembered. I was gonna say this, but I forgot. But yeah, the way that you described your previous, I guess now, workplace just made it sound like your the store manager wanted to make it seem like you were busy in case their boss came
The
in.
store manager doesn't care. She does. She cares about what happens at the front end, and then she cares if I'm doing my DSD correctly, quote unquote. But that's it.
Ah,
I've gotten no guidance from the store manager, no enthusiasm from the store manager. It's just nothing. She's concerned about the front end and what happens on cameras, the security cameras, and that's it. Which is fine, but don't expect me to feel indebted to you in any way if you're not providing me with guidance, if you're not stepping up to help, if you're not showing enthusiasm for the workplace, because she's really not. You know, I don't think a day has gone by, or a week has gone by rather, where she hasn't kind of given at least one employee a huffy attitude or like, oh, I hate this job, I want to quit this job, go somewhere else. It's like, and that's how my price changing specialist is as well. It's like, how is it that you know, at the start of 2020, the start of the COVID panic, I was working a department is basically the manager of that department, not an actual manager, but a manager of that department. I was working that alone. I had nobody. I had nothing. I had one person who helped me. One person. And she didn't even have to help me. She helped me out of the kindness of her own heart. And I was able to kick ass and take names, not necessarily in that order, and do it alone for 6 or 7 months before I said, hey, this is ridiculous. I want out. Put me back on the price changing thing and let somebody else become the lead of HBA because I'm done. I've had it up to here and then some. And then they said, okay. And then it took another 3 months for them to actually find somebody to replace me as the lead. So yeah, I was able to do that and all that and then some with a smile on my face. Never complained once. Never had a bad thing to say about the company. Well, not publicly anyway. Never complained, never threatened to quit, never whined, never called in sick, never just threw up my hands and said, hey, I'm off the clock, it's their problem now. I always gave it 110% with a smile on my face. And then I come to this rickety ass store where things are stupid, and it's the easiest crap I've ever done in my life. And that also simultaneously the hardest crap I've ever done in my life because everyone there is miserable. Everybody there is whiny. Everybody there complains all day long. And I'm like, you have no idea how easy you have it in this stupid rinky-dink ass store. You don't know the half of it. You only think you got it bad because you've never been anywhere else. And you're never going to go anywhere else because you suck. You don't know how to operate. You could never survive out in a real store with real customers. You know, you're whining about the maximum of 5 customers in the store at a time. I've dealt with 50,000. Screaming in Wembley Stadium. No, I haven't.
You've got 50,000 customers all suplexing you at the same time.
In the Silver Dome, brother.
But yeah, the morale, I guess, is the way to put it. Like the morale that you
morale is probably the number one reason why I'm leaving that store.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean,
I can't put up with the negative morale that everyone feels like they're feeding off of.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I'll note that like the stuff that you talked about with the store manager. He's also what my boss did at the printing press. Difference is my boss owned the printing press directly. So
goodness gracious,
like he'd come in, like maybe once every 2 days. He'd come in for an hour, complain about nobody doing their jobs when they were, and then he'd leave angry.
Yeah,
and yeah. And you know, I could like once again, this is on top of like not paying people, not giving people like me, for example, proper like guidance, like whatchamacallit, like not him or any of the people who were supposed to be above me, which were like I had 3 bosses in a company that was 9 people.
Right.
And then the other 6 were in other departments. So but yeah, like that sort of stuff. And then like they did a really good job of simulating what like a large chain would experience when the company was 9 people. And I don't know how.
Yeah.
Because like this shit, the stuff that you talk about, like it sucks when it happens to like large chains. but at least it makes more sense because there's whatchamacallit, there's this word, not bureaucracy, but there's something else that I'm thinking of. It might be bureaucracy, whatever. But like because of how many layers people have to go through, it makes sense that eventually just sours people on working.
Yeah.
But like, what layers do you have to go through when it's nine people and one of them owns the fucking building? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah. Also, like, I don't know how it is over there. Over here, like, once again, I've been trying to apply for a grocer job, or like, just anything in a store, because like, fuck it, and I want a job mainly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would like to not die like poor, and
Yeah.
a grocery store job ain't gonna make me rich, but at the same time, I will make more money than if I have no job. So,
Yep.
but yeah, so yeah, I mean, I've been looking into that, and the major problems that I've been facing here is that the stores that are closest to me have no free spots. The like I could apply to just the chains, but then the chain might just send me on the other side of the country. And while that might be
Right.
feasible for someone like you, where you know how to drive, and also that's just how America works, I don't.
Yep. Yep.
It needs to be somewhere close so I can actually like go to the store to work at it.
Yep.
And then there's also the thing of I don't know how it works over there. Over here, from what I can tell, people don't get hired as like just the stocking guy or whatever. No, it's either you work the forklift or you do everything else.
Yeah. Over here, it's not. It depends on where you're working at. Obviously, there's definitely some places where they'll hire any clown off the street and be like, "Okay, get on the forklift, go, go do things, go be great." But at every company I've worked for this far, I've not had that situation where you're getting thrown into the thick of it with no real experience. I've never worked at Walmart, so that's probably why.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like because like yeah, when I've been looking, it's kind of just like it's not really that you apply for a job position. You apply to work at this place or you don't, and then it's like if you work at the job, you have to stock the shelves, but you also have to go work the cashier stations, and you also have to do like meat stuff sometime, for example.
Oh yeah, it's for every retail job I've worked so far, it's been similar to that, but it's not as egregious. Where I'd only be pulled over to do a different department's duties on occasion. It's a lot more frequent in the store I work at currently, where I've been hired as DSD slash backup price changing specialist. But for the most part, if I'm able to escape my price changer, then I do freight with the freight crew, or I'll do well, that's about it actually, just freight. Because they don't let me do markdowns because that's manager only thing, and they don't let me do just about anything else because that's manager only thing.
But I mean, is that something that they set you on, or is that something that you do out because you want to? You know?
That is a good question. It's something I started doing just because I thought I was supposed to do it. I don't actually know if I'm supposed to be helping the freight crew or not.
Ah,
Nobody told me not to, so I just keep doing it.
I see. Because yeah, I know all of this shit because one of the cashiers in one of the stores that we frequent had was complaining about this loudly recently. But like one of the jobs, like they're supposed to be changing position every shift, so it's supposed to be a thing of like one day you're working cash registers, the other day you're stocking shelves, the other day you're working the meat uh thing, or you're on dairy or whatever. And she's been stuck on cashier duty for the past month.
Oh man.
and because of her complaining, every time we go to the store, we make note of whether she's in the cash register or not. She usually is. It's sad,
Yeah.
but yeah, uh, like I'd also have a problem with that just because like I can I don't like front facing jobs just because I have to actually interact with people, and like I can work like a robot would. I can do the job part of the job where I like put the like I scan the items in and then tell people what they have to pay, but like I can't do that shit smiling, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Like I can functionally I can do the function, but I can't do the aesthetics of working the cash register, and that's basically my hang up about that, because like I can do most anything else. Like I can if someone like shows me how the machines work, I can work meat or whatever the fuck. Really, I can stock shelves. That's the easiest bit.
Yeah.
but but yeah, and then also the thing of like over there, from what I understand, there would be like different separate people to do all of these separately, and over here you get paid once because it's just that's just your job. Everything that is your job. Once again, unless you do forklift stuff, then you do the forklift stuff, and then that's it. But you do still have to be
Right.
certified for that. So
Yeah. The smaller company that I work for over here, they've got something similar to what you've got over there, but it's a bit different. So when you're hired, you're either working in the grocery department, the front end, or one of the specialty things like meat, deli, bakery, etc.
yeah,
So grocery department handles, all the cleanup like janitor would, all the stocking, all the price changing, except the price changing is something else special entirely. Lucky us. Let's see what else do we do. Uh, see cleanup, freight, stocking, recovery, etc. All that stuff.
I'm assuming recovery
Basically,
is like putting back the shit that kids pick up and their mother puts back
yes,
down.
yes. That's Yep. Putting stuff back from where it was to where it belongs.
See, that's not even a position here. that's
Oh, weird.
that's something that may be like one of the cleaning crew. Depends on the store. So some stores have a
Maybe.
cleaning crew. Some stores don't. But like that's something that where like usually it either gets done like overnight, which there is no night shift over here. But it either gets done overnight or it doesn't get done.
Right. So recovery over here, and it differs from store to store because this is not how my previous Fred Meyer company did it. But recovery in the current company I work for is putting back all the miscellaneous items that were moved around from customers, and then going from shelf to shelf to shelf and making sure every product on the shelf is pulled to the front. That way, it looks nice, and the customers have easy access to whatever they're looking for.
Yeah,
And that is the sum of recovery. Recovery at Fred Meyer's is similar but different, where they have two different words for both those things. At Fred Meyer in Oregon, go backs was what they referred to as putting stuff back after it had been moved and around the store from customers or other things. And yeah, that's the word they used for that. And then recovery was just the fix up the shelves, pull things forward, make it look nice,
yeah.
etc.
I was gonna joke that the terminology was locate and destroy, or locate the scattered items and destroy the clutter.
I like it. That should be the official terminology. Let's see.
Uh,
I had a train of thought, then it was thrown off. What were we talking about?
recovery, and before
Recovery. Oh yeah, the differences
yeah,
between here and there. I think that settles all the differences, but I could be wrong. Um, no, I think that about settles it. But yeah, so at the store I'm currently with, front end is the other part of the job you would have if you're not in grocery, and that is all the cashiering, the customer service desk, the all that type of stuff where you're dealing with customers a lot at the quote unquote front end.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's all fine and dandy. It's not work that I would want, but it's there.
yeah. See that's the same way I am. Like I wouldn't mind doing the back end work, because once again, fuck it, it's a job. You get paid for it, but like I don't want to. Like I don't want my job to be speaking to people. If I wanted my job to be speaking to people, it's very easy to get a call center job, and then just be
Yeah,
a plague upon humanity for money.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Uh,
yeah. I think I can work with people very well, despite the fact that for the longest time I didn't think it would. So I'm actually maybe it's because I've got all the customer service experience, but I don't know. I think I just naturally found a good rhythm to converse with people, and for short periods of time, doesn't wear me out all
yeah,
that much, doesn't make me paranoid or anything. So I think I've got a good thing going.
yeah. I mean, mostly my thing is just the anxiety disorders.
Yeah, yeah. But I know for a fact that I would not like it up in the front end doing all the cashiering and stuff like that. Because I can handle people for short periods of time, and I am very good at, being nice and playing nice and getting people what they need, what they want, etc. But to have to deal with them and then to have to deal with unruly customers for extended periods of time for like an 8-hour shift, it's like that's not the job for me. I would not be happy doing that.
Yeah,
And I would not be doing that for long.
yeah. So yeah, good luck. I don't know if I should say good luck or congrats, because it seems like you already got the job, the new one.
I basically already have the job. At this point, in order to not get the job, I would have to fail a background check or a drug test, and that's not going to happen because my background is immaculate. I'm Hispanic, and I don't do drugs.
I mean, think you're in Texas.
I might have to worry just a little bit, but for the most part, I should be fine. This job should be a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, like, what that I say that you're in Texas. Like, depending on how much Meyer cares about that branch, I guess it should be fine, because it seems like one of those things where if they actually raise a problem about you not being white, then you can raise a stink about it, and
Right,
Meyer will
right,
step in.
right. But at the same time, we can joke about racism in Texas all we want, but it's been a lot more diverse here ethnically than it was up in Oregon, and I got hired up in Oregon, so
Yeah.
that's I should be fine.
Yeah, not only that, I don't actually know where you live, as far as I know, you're closer to one of the more whatchamacallit, like one of the cities that got a blue boost or whatever, that complains about where liberals moved in.
Right. I actually I don't think I am close because I want to say what is it, Dallas and Austin that are blue?
I have no clue.
I don't remember. I think Austin is definitely one of the blue ones. Dallas is kind of waffling right now. I think Dallas is the closest major metropolitan city. So technically the community might be a bit more blue, or the majority of the community but might be a bit more blue where I'm at. But even though I'm in closest proximity to Dallas as the major city, I'm out in rural Texas
Ah,
where it would skew more red,
yeah.
and does skew more red from looking at my workplace. So, but at the same time, they're not. Wait, is it red or blue for Republican?
I think it's red, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure red is Republican.
Yeah,
But
because Republicans are communists.
yeah, right, exactly. So it's more Republican where I'm at, but it's never factored into any racism that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
A good chunk. I think maybe 65% of the no, maybe less. We'll say 45% of the vendors I deal with are black, and then I've got one or two Hispanics, and the rest would be white. I want to say, but the workplace itself where I work, we've got a I think I'm the only Hispanic there, ironically enough, but we've got a decent blend of white and black. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how the Fred Meyer place would be out here because I've only been inside the store once or twice. You know, once to check it out briefly and once to do the interview, and I obviously didn't get a good look at any of the associates I'd be working with. But yeah, I'm not concerned about any racism
yeah,
or racisms because, as you said, I could just whip out a lawsuit and get a lot of money.
yeah. And I mean, like, the like that I see a lot of people online say Texas is racist and all that, and then I treat it like a meme because to me it is. I don't live in America. It's hard for me to
Right.
actually gauge these things. But like the only legitimate like racism that I've seen pop up recently was Florida. So
Right.
Florida in Texas.
Right.
Because yeah, there was a major fighting games tournament, and then apparently some white people were standing in front of the venue and just yelling shit at the Chinese players. But no, it wasn't even Chinese players. That's what was bad. They were yelling Chinese racial slurs at anyone who wasn't like black or white.
What?
Yeah, something like that. But
Well
basically,
then.
yeah, basically, like the form of racism that people like use to make fun of racists. Yeah, for some reason these people decided, no, that's actually what we'll do.
How peculiar.
Florida,
Yeah,
Florida people.
indeed.
So yeah, I guess congrats on the
Uh,
new job then.
Thank you. I can't wait to start. I don't know when I'll start because again, I gotta put in my 2 weeks notice at the current company, and I gotta uh get back in touch with the other company and figure out when they want me to start.
Yeah,
I'll either drop off my 2 weeks tomorrow or Monday when I get back to work. But I'm quitting ASAP
yeah,
because sooner I'm out of there, the happier I'll be. And if that means I get a week or two where I'm not working at all, so be it. I guess I'll just sit at home and play Street Fighter
yeah.
6 all day.
Somehow it doesn't. Somehow that doesn't
What a
doesn't. Yeah, that
tragedy.
somehow it doesn't strike me as the worst thing in the world. Uh, like whenever I hear you talking about like work stuff in America, it really just sounds like, hey, I could do this.
Yeah,
Like not to sound like I'm talking off of a high horse or whatever, but it sounds like some people have it a bit too good in the sense that they like rightly so they want to move forward in life, and like once again as I've said, like working the grocer isn't gonna make you rich or anything, but at the same time, like looking at it from over here, where like I legitimately have no options to work, which is why I'm sitting on my ass and have been sitting on my ass for
yeah,
the past 3 years. Like
yeah,
it just sounds to me like, hey, I could probably just legitimately walk into a fucking store and be like, hey, I want to work, and they would go, okay.
yeah. It that happens. To to be quite honest, how I got the job where I'm at currently is I walked into the store and they were doing open interviews. I did an open interview and I got a job the very next day.
Nice.
You can literally out here just walk into the store and walk out with a job.
Yeah,
It's quite possible. It's a feasible feat,
yeah. I mean, I'm
especially if
yeah,
you like if especially if you're like wanting to work specifically in grocery or in like construction or something because grocery is a bit harder because, like, the issue you're having right now is, yeah, there does need to be a position available, but turnover rates for grocery stores out here is actually pretty high. I mean, it was higher in Oregon, and less so out here in Texas, which is kind of shocking. I don't know what to think of that. But yeah, usually if there's a position available in the grocery company, you're able to walk into an interview and walk out with a job because they'll take anybody, any fresh body.
As long as as long as it's not criminal. And
Right, as long
and
as it's not
and
criminal,
and that's when
as
construction comes in.
right. Yeah, precisely. That's just how it be.
Uh, but either construction or working on what should we call it in the kitchen at the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. One of these one
That
of actually now that I think about it, technically I have a job lined up. I just need to actually like get on with it.
oh.
uh, so I don't know if I don't think I told you all this. A while ago, my media teacher, the person who used to teach media class at my second high school, he quit the job because he got a better one as a project leader or something like that at a company. And like it's I don't know what position he fills, but it's a leader position, a leading position as far as I know.
Oh.
And
Nice.
you know they did a party to send him off and all that because they liked him. And during that he was like, read between the lines. He talked with my mom because my mom also works at the school, and he told her, read between the lines. But I, as in Eddie, should really go to this school and do this thing, and if that, then that everything will work out.
Mm.
And that I don't know about you, but the only ways that I can read between the lines is that he's setting a spot up for me if I can actually get the certifications for it.
Ah.
Which would be nice. It would mean that I would actually work in media, like I tried 2 years ago.
Nice.
And I mean, it's like the thing is technically I could be working in media. I actually got a job in media years ago, but my mom turned it down because of
No.
travel. The city's water polo team hired me. They announced that they hired me, and then my mom turned it down.
What the heck?
Yeah. So like I could
Messed up.
so like my job could be traveling with the water polo team and recording their stuff and editing that, but you know they basically like you know I could blame my mom. I don't because like I understand why she did, but like this is the problem that I have with jobs is that like for one I don't like you know unlike you for example I don't feel like something is missing from my life if I'm not actively working. Technically I feel like something is missing from my life just because like you know there's a lot of things that not having access to money uh changes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like aside from that, like you know, I'm not really like, man, I'm bored. I don't have anything to do because then I can just research shit. I can do creative works. I can do a lot of things. Like the like I'm not really in need of search for things to spend my time on.
Right.
But there was something I was gonna get out of this. Fuck. But yeah, oh yeah. But like, there's a lot of things that like a lot of reasons either because of how I was raised or my ailments or a combination of the two, where a lot of things need to be accommodating to me so that I could actually work at a place. And like, I'm not gonna expect you know a random corporation, no matter how big or small, to immediately accommodate that shit or whatever.
Right.
But it's also something that I need to consider when I apply for somewhere, which is why I generally don't apply it anywhere because you know like once again like it needs to be close. I need to be able to physically do it because if not, then there's a chance that my epilepsy comes back, and that would suck.
Yeah.
uh, it needs to be an entry level job because I have no experience. The only thing I have experience with is editing shit. Like I have uh sound engineering experience. I have video editing experience, and I have uh like camera operator experience. But that's all of my experiences, and none of these are things that you can apply in a normal day to day entry level job.
Right.
I guess I technically have presenter experience as well because when you spend enough time shooting stuff with cameras, the camera fright goes away. So like I could actually stand in front of a camera and talk. I just don't, mainly because genuinely I could probably be a fine presenter. I wouldn't say that I'd be good at it because I have no experience with it, like no proper experience with it.
Yeah.
But technically I could be a fine presenter just because I don't have camera fright.
Right.
Which I mean, the reason that I know that I don't have camera fright is if you remember, I had to take uh these tests, these maturation tests or whatever you want to call them, when
Yeah.
I left high school, and the stuff that I made for that uh was used by this teacher that's quit the school recently, as an example for how you make a good video, like how you make good movie. Where like it obviously was easier on me to make that one because the what you call it, subject matter was vlogging, and me being me, like I know what a vlog is. I know what a vlog is supposed to look like. I haven't edited a vlog, and I don't watch people vlogging. At the same time, it only takes a little know-how and some knowledge with your video editor to be able to know, or to be able to know the tropes of vlogging. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny. How that, and he also asked me to give him the raw, or not the raw file, but like the actual like offline file for one of my reviews, and then those were those were used as examples for years. And I know this because like even after I left the school, uh kids would tell my mom that during media class they were shown my video.
Ah.
And like obviously, when the kids say that, you go, no, that no, that's not real. But then why would multiple whatchamacallit, like multiple years of kids say the same lie?
Right.
uh but yeah, so technically I might have that lined up, but at the same time that's also something that to work towards in the long run, because like for me to actually get that job, if he can actually make the spot, and I can actually get the stuff together for it and all that, like I would need to go to university for like I would have to go to film school. That would take 4
Yeah.
years. Like.
Yeah. It's never fun to look at, oh, something good could happen 4 years from now, but at the same time, I mean, in 4 years from now, it's gonna be 4 years from now anyway, so
I mean that is true, but also like my thinking is just like I can set that up like passively, like I can work towards that shit and try to get into film school. Like he wanted me to do it this year. I'm pretty sure I missed the mark on doing it this year, because to actually get into film school I would need to kiss up to the committee, and the way to kiss up to the committee is to go to a 3-month long uh like preschool school,
ah,
and we have a month until school begins, so
yeah.
I don't think I'm hitting that.
Yeah, I could see the dilemma there.
So maybe I'll start next year, because by then the thing will start up again, and I
Right.
can surely actually make it that time, hopefully.
Yay.
But yeah, but also like I would also like to get like some form of job, because money would be nice. Any money
Yay.
would be nice.
Yay.
Uh, but yeah, like once again, like sometimes my mom brings in like job listings of like here's a uh call center job, because she doesn't want me to leave the house, because then I won't get lost, which that's a very like strange thing for someone my age to say, but like
Yeah.
once again, because of my ailments, that's just how it is. I can't actually navigate. like, these are the things that make it so I can't just take any job.
Yeah.
uh so yeah, but like I don't want the call center job, because once again, like what does a call center job compromise of,
Yeah. It's a lot of calls. A lot of very fun calls.
Yeah. And like let's not talk about the fact that I can't even like call people on the cell phone or write on email, because I get that much anxiety from it. Or things
Ooh.
of that sort. Like I don't uh I generally don't message people at all, because it gives me anxiety. That's my thing. Like how Mike doesn't like change, and it gives him anxiety. Like I don't, any form of messaging that isn't in voice is harder for me, because then I freak out about, okay, am I like, can I be misconstrued to be mean? Can I, am I sending it to the right person?
Ah.
Stuff like that.
Right.
That's why I prefer talking in calls, because like I can say shit that sounds mean, but I don't think about it that much. Like it's easier for me to say stuff and then go, oh shit, that actually sounded bad, instead of looking at a very simple sentence and going, okay, but can they think that I'm an asshole because of this? Like, am I misunderstanding the context cues?
I getcha.
Yeah. And like, it always comes back to it. So it feels like, or at least whenever I talk about it with my family, it does. But like, I feel like actually getting like diagnosed would be nice, because it won't help, but at least like, I feel like it's easier to fight against shit when you actually know where it starts and where it begins. I just said the same thing
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Where it starts and where it ends.
Where it starts and where it begins.
Yeah, like, it starts here, and it also starts there, and yeah, I mean,
Look at all these places where it starts. It's unbelievable.
we joke, but that kind of describes depression, doesn't it?
You're not wrong.
But yeah, like, I think that it would be nice, but once again, like, catch 22. I need money to get diagnosed, because I need to pay the psychologist or the psychiatrist or whoever money.
Right.
But I also need to get diagnosed, because if I legitimately cannot work in a normal environment like Mike, then they're kind of the only people who can actually like judge that.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
And then once again, like, it comes up a bit. I feel like, or it has come up a bit. At least in private conversations, if not on the podcast. But like, I am a lot like Mike, which is partially why I'm scared of getting the diagnosis, because like, like once again, it's not really that I want to work, but I wouldn't mind money, and like, without a job that's hard.
Yeah.
Although now that I say that, I should recommend Mike that he starts on OnlyFans. that's not traditional work. he can do it.
Oh, I'd subscribe.
I mean, we joke, but at the same time, he did go viral off of his voice, so he might be able to do something with that, like
True.
ASMR or something, and then put it up on OnlyFans. There's
Right.
there's ways to exploit this shit.
Just gotta find the niche for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess did you do anything aside from getting a new work, a new job?
Uh,
Yeah,
Aside from getting a new work,
yeah,
I don't know. I played a lot of Endless Legend as the Kapaku who can terraform the Earth into volcanic ash. I talked about that on a podcast a couple weeks ago. Didn't have a lot of time invested into it though at the time, so I could delve a bit deeper into it now. But I'm not going to because I barely understand what I'm doing in that game. It's been fun though. It's very similar to Civilization, except very different at the same time. A lot of fun, unique mechanics in that game. I love the faction that I'm playing as because I always love the factions that can benefit off terrain that other people try to actively avoid.
yeah.
It's always fun to have that unique niche where everybody hates to spawn next to the snow and tundra, but me, I thrive in it. That's where I get all my food. And then it's even more fun now with the Kapaku because they get all their benefits from volcanoes and brimstone and hellfire and stuff like that. And while the biomes might not necessarily be it to your benefit initially, they also have the ability to, as I said on a prior podcast, terraform the Earth to make it hellfire and brimstone.
And if if if,
So
if you do it enough, you can summon Kane.
exactly. So, while you might start in a lava biome and then have a bunch of other biomes next to you that don't have any lava at all, don't worry about it. You can terraform the earth to make it suit your needs. And then eventually when you meet your neighbors, you can go terraform their locations and it'll be funny because you'll totally ruin their yields and they'll hate you for it. And it's funny, trust me, it's funny. Maximum funny. So yeah, had a good time with Endless Legend, a game from 2014 that I didn't start playing until like this year, and soon actually got me that for Christmas several years ago.
Ah,
So it's funny how I'm just now getting to that. It's been good though. I liked it.
nice.
Um, let's see. I don't think I've invested any time into Street Fighter 6 this week at all. I've not played since Rashid dropped, and I unfortunately missed out on the
You
Tornado
didn't.
of Death.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the tournament. I haven't played since the tournament. You wanna know? You wanna know my tournament experience?
What is your tournament
I
experience?
went online. I tried to sign up for the tournament. I couldn't.
Well, I guess they're being picky.
It always said either feature is unavailable or it gave a communications error, and then what it. Then they fixed it, but the next tournament was at 5 a.m.
Oh,
And I like Street Fighter 6. I would have liked to record a video of me getting my ass kicked in the tournament. I am not going to wake up at 5 a.m. to make a video about getting my ass kicked in a tournament.
I hadn't heard about the tournament stuff. Is that like a Capcom thing where they're hosting tournaments, or
Yes,
is that okay?
yeah, it
Okay.
was official tournaments that you could sign up for in game, and you had to sign up for them an hour before they started. And the entire hour was spent with everyone spamming it, trying to get in, and then sometimes people got in, and anything that was above bronze rank, when the tournament actually was supposed to schedule to start, the servers went down, and when they came back up, the people who were scheduled to be in the tournaments, it said that the tournament is over to them.
Oh,
So
that's a mess and a half.
yeah, once again, like allegedly this was fixed shortly after, but like it was like after the tournament that like how it was set up is that there were three tournaments. One of them was 1 p.m. my time. The other one was like 10 p.m. my time, and then the other one was 5 a.m. my time. So I tried to sign up for the one that was at 1 p.m. because that's a realistic time
Yeah.
to be available. That's when all of this happened, and then by the 10 p.m. the tournaments have been cancelled, and then they posted, oh wait, shit, actually we fixed it. The tournament is gonna be in like 3 hours. But I'm not gonna once again. I'm not gonna sign up for a tournament at midnight. Also, I was already sleeping by the time they made that announcement. So
Yeah.
and then the one at 5, if I one at 5 a.m. I just wasn't gonna make at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my tournament experience with Street Fighter 6. I actually still have I have recorded the hour spent trying to get in.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll edit it down into a video because I signed off saying, "Hey, I'll see you in 8 hours," which is when the next tournament was supposed to happen, but then got cancelled and moved back. So. But yeah, like I tried to sign up for the gold tournament. I tried to because it was silver and gold in one bracket. It was platinum and master in another, a platinum 2 master in another, something like
I
that.
can't join any of these.
There were also rookie tournaments and bronze.
I might have qualified for those.
Yeah,
Barely. Barely.
I mean it just looks at what rank your character is. So like as long as you did the placements, you should be able to qualify with any character for rookie.
Oh,
Nothing else.
nice. So that's all the babes in Dawson. I don't think I've ranked any of the other males in that game.
Ah. So yeah, those characters would have qualified, but we also don't know if the next tournament will use this thing or if it will just be a free for all like most tournaments actually are. I would prefer it to be a free for all just because like it's funnier for me if I go up against someone and they're like Master 5 and they
Right.
just completely wreck me.
I don't know which one. I obviously as a player would prefer to be facing players of my skill level, but I think there's something inherently funny and great about the potential for such a massive mismatch, putting like a rookie 3 or somebody my skill level, which is going to be much lower, against like a master who is clearly here to win and has no idea why he's being put up against this rookie,
Yeah, I mean
and
like
then just completely obliterates his ass.
I mean my thing is that like whenever I think of tournaments in fighting games, I never think about the possibility of winning them because there's people who like I ain't no Daigo, I ain't no Justin Wong. Like the amount of skill required is on order of magnitude greater than what I possess, and I have no real interest in actually like trying to get to that point. Like I'm fine with being like high, like and I'm fine with being gold, I guess, low gold, high silver.
Yeah.
But it's also a thing of like, well, if they have a tournament where like it's only golds and silvers, I will probably still get beaten. But it's a lot less funny to say, oh yeah, when I signed up for a tournament in my skill bracket, I lost. Than it is to say, hey, this guy who is really good at the game completely annihilated me in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, there's just something like it's also one of those things of like, oh, there's this guy that I shout out a lot called Daigo, which I'm sure you've noticed.
Yeah.
Daigo
Yeah.
is a very good like Daigo plays fighting games very similarly to how I do, which is why I'm so attached to him. I guess he's also one of the like most well known old heads. Like he had a very famous spot in Third Strike where he did a very hard parry and he still lost that match. But everyone only remembers the parry and everyone thinks he won that match because of it.
Yeah.
But like it's one of those things where like where if for example, like Evo is gonna be in 2 weeks. There's gonna be a lot of people who know how to play fighting games a lot better than any of us do. And
Oh man, I have been training for Evo. I forgot.
yeah, and like I have no real reason to actually sign up for Evo. People do it as a thing to say like, hey, I actually went to Evo, and then they didn't get out of pools, but whatever. Like if I ever go to Evo, my only thing is that I want to get beaten by Daigo on air. Like that's all I want. That's gonna be winning for me because like I am never winning a tournament. Like the chances of me actually winning a fighting game tournament are next to none. But being able to say, oh yeah, I fucking just got completely annihilated by Daigo in 2 seconds would
Not
be enough.
everyone has that pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Wooly from Best Friends, uh, actually can claim that, and people make fun of him for it. But no, like that's a feat. He got a round off of Daigo. Like
It's an honor.
yeah. Also, I would prefer if Daigo does this before he becomes senile to me, just because just because like on the objects that I take a round of, it's a lot worse when it's a guy who can barely play the game anymore. No, notice how I'm not even saying that I'll beat Daigo even at that point. No, I'm saying that I take a round off of him at that point.
When he's old and senile, I might take a round off him.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a lost cause.
Uh, but yeah, like that's I guess that's just how the whatchamacallit, like that's just how the competition thing is, because like to you I look insurmountable because I have like 20 years of experience and shit. And then
Right.
to me, Daigo looks unsurmountable because Daigo has 20 years of experience on top of what I have, and also he has like 30 of those 40 or so years. I don't actually know how long he's been playing fighting games. I'm just throwing numbers out, but like still, like 2/3 of the time, as far as I'm aware, has been spent on the top. And like he's fallen off recently, is what people say. That like he isn't as he isn't getting like top placements as consistently as he has been before. But like he's been doing this for a fucking while.
Yeah.
Like, Brock Lesnar isn't gonna win the UFC belt without some steroids. Like Daiko can lose a couple of tournaments and still be really good at the game. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, I have no clue who the current like big top players are because I don't follow the actual competition. I don't care. I tried to watch competitive Tekken a while ago, like a couple of years ago, and I got bored because every match played the same, more or
Yeah.
less. Like this also comes back around to what we want out of fighting games. But like I like the setups when the thing that you wouldn't expect happens, and you know all that sort of stuff. Like I like being surprised in a fight, and the competitive mindset hates surprise. So
Oh.
they min max the surprise out of the game, and it just makes the game look real boring. And the developers have been trying to counteract this by putting in the flashing lights and the slowdowns and shit. But it's just a thing. It's just a problem with competition to me, where like how many times can I watch people play footsies in roughly the same way that they have been for the past like 2 hours before I go, okay, they're just playing footsies. I'm getting kind of bored.
Yeah.
And then like once in every like 15 tournaments, there will be a surprising combo or whatever, and then people go, "Hey, that was a cool combo," and then that's it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, not to ramble on too much, but like, you remember Jack from Tekken, right?
Jack.
Big robot.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack kind of summarizes my problems with the whole competitive stuff as well, like the esports and all that. Because Jack is a very safe character. Jeff, yeah, his name was Jeff. Yeah, Jack has like most tools that you need competitively, which is why he was very popular around the time that I was watching. this meant that like every I want to say like I watched the top 10, and of the top 10, 8 of them were Jack,
Oh,
and it's just two big robot guys doing the same 3 moves over and over again while the other one blocks.
right.
And competitively, that is what you're supposed to be doing because that's how you keep pressure and shit. I don't give a fuck. It's not interesting. Like, this is the big difference between me and W. For me, what's fun? Well, what is fun to watch? What is fun to do? Takes precedent over what is competitively viable because there's only so much. Like competitively, the game should just be rock paper scissors. Like, let's just remove everything and just make it so you press one of 3 buttons and then the opponent presses the other and then that just decides who wins. You know.
Yeah.
And like fighting games are just a very complex game of rock paper scissors if you really want to simplify them. But like because it's a really complex game of rock paper scissors. Sometimes you can have a paper that beats or scissors, and those are the things
Yeah.
that I like. It just doesn't seem like a lot of what the competitive stuff aims towards.
Yeah, I get that.
Uh, so what I'm saying is that we should enable items, and we should have matches in on stages that are not Final Destination.
Yeah. There are plenty of other stages we could consider tournament legal.
All of the Omega
There
ones.
was nothing wrong with pokey floats. You're all just cowards.
Pink. There's a level in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl that is Poke Floats, but worse.
I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It's this level where a bunch of items float across the screen and you have to jump on them to not die.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that. I've seen that on Twitter, I want to say.
And that stage sucks. I hate it. Like I don't like platform fighters in general. Like the only platform fighter that I remember liking is no, actually that's a lie. There were 2 platform fighters that I remember liking, which were TMNT Smash Up and Digimon Rumble Arena.
Oh, I didn't know Digimon made a platform fighter.
Yeah,
I did play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle platform Smash Brothers, and I also thought that was good.
yeah, I like that. The Digimon had a platform fighter series, and it actually
The whole series?
yeah.
And I never heard about it?
Yes, Digimon Rumble Arena was on the PS1, and we might be able to play it on Fightcade soon because it's one of the games that the lead dev was like, hey, I tried out Rumble Arena. It actually works fine. So yeah, that's one of my things that like yeah, I'll be happy because I love that I loved that game. I don't know if I'd still love it because it's been years since I played it, and God
Right.
knows it might be bad. But then there was also that was PS1. There was a second game on PS2. I never played it. People say it's a lot better than the first one. So who knows? There was also a third one on the Xbox 360 after the Xbox One came out.
Oh man,
They sent it out to die.
unbelievable.
It was also bad, from what I hear.
Slightly believable.
Because like the first 2 Rumble Arenas are they're Smash clones. They are proper platform fighters. Rumble Arena 3, which wasn't actually called that, it was Rumble something or other. I forget what it was. It was a Power Stone ripoff. It was full
Oh,
3D movement. And yeah, I can see how that would be bad.
oh, was it good though?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like also my thing with like oh yeah. Like I generally don't like platform fighters just because of the controls. It's the same way that some people don't like classic or traditional fighters because the controls turn them off. I don't like the movement. It's too floaty. I also feel like I don't have full control over my character because of how you put moves. in general.
Right.
So you know, uh, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Yeah, and like the Smash, I don't have any like I don't have any real nostalgia for Smash because I only played 64, and 64 was a
Yeah,
blueprint.
64 was pretty bad. It wasn't great.
Technically, I played Smash 4 on the DS or the 3DS, but only the demo of it. And in the demo, you could play as Mario.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, you could also choose your enemy to be Mega
That's
Man.
just Super Smash Brother.
Let me tell you, trying to actually use any Nintendo console in Hungary is a Super Smash Butter. They don't officially technically they support Hungary. There is a proper Hungarian website for Nintendo. The eShop, any version of it, regardless of which generation, doesn't exist. Fuck you. Go to Britain or Germany. Like I had to set up an English account on my 3DS when I had it. That I could actually look at the eShop and download demos because the eShop is not supported in Hungary, and you know like the PlayStation Store, it gives me a pop up whenever I open it that it's not supported in Hungary. All it does is that it's not translated to Hungarian completely. I can buy shit with Hungarian currency. I can
Oh
download
man.
I can download demos. I can actually have a functional account.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, Nintendo allegedly supports Hungary, but also doesn't have a web shop, a functioning web shop.
It's
Or at
messed
least
up.
or at least didn't when I tried last time. Once again, like this wasn't even that long ago because I sold my 3DS to get Assassin's Creed Origins. So that would have been 2018, I think. I might be wrong. I don't remember when Origins
I think
released.
I think Origins was 2017.
You might be right. But you know that my point being that it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the only game that I played on my 3DS was Pokemon X because I bought the 3DS when it came in Pokemon X. And
I
and
don't even remember X. I think that was the one with Greninja.
Pokemon X was the one with I don't remember if Greninja was one of the starters. One of the starters was Breakshen or whatever, the Firefox, and you chose yeah, Mozilla was the starter Pokemon, and and there was also oh yeah, you could also choose one of the Gen 1 starters.
Oh.
It's X was the game where they introduced like Mega Evolutions, and uh Charizard's Mega Evolution was turning into an X antibody from Digimon.
Ah.
At least in the X, like genuinely, shit. In the X version, because Charizard got two Mega variants depending on which version of the game you got. In the Y version, he was just Charizard, but with like larger horns, and that was it. In in X, he became an X antibody version of Charizard, where he changed his color scheme to black and blue, and he also got like flame constantly coming out of his mouth. But yeah, that's the only like full game that I played on my 3DS because buying shit on the web shop was impossible because you had, like once again I had to make a British account to be able to use the online service at all, and
Yeah.
uh yeah, trying to top up stuff with pounds is impossible because you can't really buy that shit in the stores, you know.
Right.
And then I also couldn't buy cassettes for it or whatever they were called, cartridges, because Nintendo tax.
Oh yeah.
I am not paying $60 for New Super Mario Brothers U.
Fair enough.
or whatever it would have been. But like I remember that distinctly remembered all of the games that I would have wanted on the 3DS were download only, like Tomodachi Life was download only, and that made it impossible for me to actually buy. Uh, so yeah. Did you do anything else aside from I guess not playing Street Fighter and getting a job?
Oh, I think that should wrap up my week. I don't think I've got anything else noteworthy to bring up.
All right. Well, now I've talked about your week a lot. Let's talk about my week a lot. No,
All right.
well, let's see. Actually, I'm gonna be talking about one thing a lot. So yeah, technically I drew stuff, but you've already seen most of it because I've been
Yes.
posting that stuff. And yeah, uh, yeah, I found a new inker. It's really nice. I like it. Whenever I try to draw with it, it looks bad because my art style, like the art style that I like for me is very thin lines and very, like it's a very like sketchbook illustration sort of thing.
Yeah.
The art style that I seem to like whenever I make it, I guess. And the inker,
Yeah.
while I like working with it because it's weird to say, but it's fun to use. The inker, it is very like the way it interacts with the drawing is very nice. The problem with it is that it, due to being an inker, it lends itself to like what you call it, to wider strokes and also just
Yeah.
more of a comic book look. And while I do say shade stuff with although do I say shade stuff in a comic book way? I don't think I can't actually tell anymore. Because like comic book stuff, the stuff that I see a lot of times usually is gradients. I don't really use gradients all that much.
Yeah.
Either which way. Yeah, like the rest of how I work doesn't really lend itself the best to the comic book look. I did a very nice Mario with it, I think. I don't know. What did you think of the Mario, I guess?
Oh, the Mario is great.
Uh I don't remember. I might have saved it. If I did, then if you ever play Super Mario World, then I can just put it into the thumbnail. Either which way, yeah. Like it made a nice Mario, but like other than that, I've tried drawing other stuff with it, and while it's fun to work with, I don't like how the like I don't like the end result that it gives as much. And it is just a thing of like I don't like my own work.
Right. I gotcha.
It also might just be a thing with me not really using it as an inker, because like when you use certain sort of drawing implement, I guess I don't know what to call it, because like I could refer to them as brushes, but I figure it probably also works in the real world, and you wouldn't call a pencil a brush.
Yeah. Probably not.
But like yeah, whenever like you use a drawing implement long enough, you get used to how it works and how like what shortcuts you can make and what shortcuts you can't make. What uh like styles it lends itself to. And my problem, I think, with this inker is just that like I'm used to using a sketchbook pen, technically, I think, where like it's very scratchy. It has a like I can go over the same line multiple times and it looks fine. It looks sort of deliberate, but not really. It's hard to describe, but like basically it works with how I flow, but it also means that I can't do stuff like line shading, because whenever I tried line shading with it, words, then it looks bad. Like it's just not a pen, I guess, that lends itself well to line shading. On the other hand,
Right.
the inker lends itself fairly well to line shading because it comic book style.
Yeah.
But because I've been using the other one for so long, I don't do line shading because it looks bad to me. Or at least like it's a thing of like The line shading I do looks bad to me because I don't do line shading, so I don't know how to do it good. It's a
I get,
paradox.
I gotcha.
Uh, but yes, I've been dealing with that. I've been going. My drawing software has this marketplace where you can download brushes that other people made, and well, not just brushes. It's a lot of things. You can download automatic actions as well, which is just like literally a list of actions that the software will do for you that other people can also set up. And it's like,
Oh,
it's like, all right, I will do like I've set up an automatic action to make it so you don't have to do, I don't know, like gradients. I have a list of gradients set up, and if you like these gradients, then you can download them, and you don't have to worry about gradients. Just press the button and it puts the gradient on nice. Or
ah,
I set up an automatic action to fuck with the saturation and the contrast to make it so it looks like animation cells, or some stuff like that.
right.
Which that latter one is real, and I know that it's real because I've been using it. It's why my recent pictures have looked a lot better. Because who'd have thought that the guy, the weeb dude that we know, would have the art style that's inspired by anime, and thus would look nicer if it actually looked like animation cells.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, uh, so I've been going to the marketplace like every day, looking at what's new and just downloading shit that looks neat. Now, one side effect of this is that my brushes have inflated. I
What's
have a
that mean?
well, Pink. Uh, normally you have like one or two subcategories whenever you choose a brush. It's like, all right, so I have the pencil brushes. The pencil brushes are just like these two categories of like. No, actually, the pencils was just one. It was just pencil. That was the subcategory,
Ah,
pencil. But pen, there was like graphical pens. There was calligraphy pen, whatever, all of that stuff. Or like brushes, you have realistic ink, you have watercolor, you have whatever the fuck else. Because of the stuff I've been downloading, and like this is just an organizational thing for me because I don't like putting brushes that don't belong to each other uh into the same category because it doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm not gonna look under the like the realistic ink to find like I don't know hair texture brush.
yeah.
So instead I make a separate category that's hair texture brushes. Now
Oh,
because some of the brushes that I get are very kind of specific. In fact, most of the brushes I get are kind of specific in their use. Well, not like they can be used in a variety of ways, but they're also like like I wouldn't call, for example, I have a brush that paints a house. Just
okay.
just paints a house. I wouldn't put that in the FX brushes because it's not really on FX, it's a house. you know.
Yeah.
So I have the house brush separately to the other brushes. And because of this, instead of the like 4 categories that, for example, brushes is supposed to have, I have 5 rows of categories. Like I don't know when we'll draw again. When we do, I need to show you my thing so you can just bask. You can in fear
In
at
fear, in the
at,
horror.
yeah, at the sheer amount of brushes that I have amassed. It's also a thing of like I look at the marketplace and I just get whatever seems neat. If I get a new like I have the pen actually I was wrong if memory serves. Pen also only have one subcategory. It's pen, but not anymore. And like most of those pens I won't actually use again because like I just
Yeah,
download them and I forget I had them because I got the ones that I like. But I still download pens sometimes because I'm like, well, maybe I'll add it to the repertoire. I probably won't, but I still download them. I have
right.
I have 4 brushes right now that needs to be because like whenever you download stuff, it doesn't go into its place immediately because they don't know what you want to use it for, and it is actually a policy because this the marketplace is run officially by the company that made the drawing software, and they actually like care about this shit. And one of the things for uploading brushes or anything of the sort is that you need to upload stuff that has a variety of uses. You can literally just be like, hey, I made this. I don't know. Like you can't upload an auto action that just paints your one drawings of fingernails pink, or stuff like
Okay.
that. That's too
Yeah.
specific of a use. It needs to like if you upload something similar, it needs to be able to like I don't know automatically select small bits and then paint them pink or whatever, something similar. I don't know because I haven't submitted shit, so I don't know how strict they are with that. But yeah, like if something isn't varied enough in its use, then they take it off. I notice because two brushes that I got yesterday were taken off the marketplace.
Oh.
And they even sent me a notification of like, hey, we took these off the marketplace. You can't use it anymore. Jokes on them. I already downloaded the brushes, so I can use them. But still, it's a thing of like if I move somewhere else, like if I get another PC or whatever, then I won't have access to that brush anymore because, well, yeah, it's not on their servers anymore. They deleted it.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like I just have so many fucking brushes for everything. Oh yeah. And like I feel like I need to download even random stuff that doesn't seem like it would be useful, just because either it might be useful later on, or I've also been thinking about uh trying to as a side gig just become like freelance illustrator for something, because my principal is a very known poet. Like he used to work in publishing shit. I'm sure he knows people who needs illustration. Like
Positive.
they like usually poetry books need illustrations. Why can
Usually.
why can't it be my shitty drawings instead of someone else's shitty drawings in that book? Uh, and so yeah, so I thought about throwing a portfolio his way to be like, hey, if someone is like, hey, I need an illustrator for something, I can do these things.
Yeah.
Just walk up to my illustrator, hey, I can draw furries. No,
Yeah. I know you've got a lot of furry poems, so
yeah,
hand over the cash, we hand over the furries.
uh, but yeah, so because of that, I'm also getting more random stuff that doesn't seem useful to me or even for channel stuff later on, because I have things that wouldn't make sense for me to have right now, but I have plans for them. Like for example, I want to say like 4 FX brushes that I downloaded that just make like these translucent crystal like things, various shapes, which is why there's different brushes. And
Yeah.
I got those because I looked at them and I went, Kingdom Hearts. Like, you know, eventually we'll get around to it, and then this will be in the Kingdom Hearts thumbnail.
Right.
Or like there's another one made by the same person. Like I've noticed that there's this person who makes very high quality brushes that I will not shout out because I don't want you to find my supplier. No, Niseo, I think their name is
The what now?
Niseo.
Iseo. I'm not gonna know how to pronounce. Well, I know how to pronounce that. I'm not gonna know how to spell that. So your secret is safe.
Yeah, and yeah, they've been uploading. There's this thing that people who upload stuff to the marketplace do, where they upload something that for free for like a day or 2 days or whatever, or limited time, and it will say free 48 hours or whatever, and then after that
Oh.
they make it so you have to pay for it with currency, which,
Oh.
on one hand it sounds as holish. On the other hand, like for example, Niseo, this Niseo person, whenever they upload something, it is in the description. This thing is free for 48 hours to celebrate its release. Fair, honestly, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
I won't
Sure.
complain. I won't complain. I get very high quality brushes for free out of it. So
Right.
But yeah, they also made puzzle pieces that I also got, and that will be like if we do the Nonary games, that will be good for the Nonary games. Like it's one of those things where like I don't know if y'all think about like series that we'll do down the line at all, but it may just be because of how many hats I decided to wear for this channel. But I'm just like, okay, well, if we do this thing, then I will need a brush that can do this thing, and if I see a brush that does something similar or something that I could use like that, then I just grab it, because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I don't know if y'all, like, once again, I don't know if y'all plan with going like, hey, I've seen this game, I haven't even played it, I've seen this game, could be fun to play. Maybe like 4 years ago, or 4 years from now, I'll remember it. Because, like, we're not gonna play Kingdom Hearts or the Nonary games anytime soon, I don't think.
Probably not. Actually, I need to. Whoops, misclicked. But keep going, keep going.
Alright, yeah. So that's it for the art stuff. Uh,
Right.
okay, Pink, I hope you're ready. You already know what's coming.
I'm not sure I do. What's coming next?
Penultimate Daydream.
Oh no. What is that?
Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, you were playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
I'm literally playing Final Fantasy right now.
Disgusting. I'm disgusted.
But yeah, Final Fantasy is a series that a lot of people love, so I feel like I should give it more chances than I should probably give it.
Eh,
But yeah, so I have tried to play Final Fantasy 1 on the NES, the original version. You shouldn't play the original version.
Sounds like a bad time.
Yes, it is. Like, the Final Fantasy 1, there's a like it's one of those games where I can see how it would be very important to JRPGs as a genre, and the amount of effort that was put into it. It aged horribly. I hate it. Uh, the entire gameplay loop is no story, all grinding. And just like to remember that I said that I can enjoy JRPGs for their story, and you will understand why I don't like Final Fantasy 1.
I see.
Like Pink. Uh, I didn't get out of the prologue. Let's start there.
Okay.
Apparently, I didn't get out of the prologue. I played the game for a day, an
Oh,
entire day.
what?
Yeah.
A 24-hour prologue?
No. I didn't make it. Like, the prologue is made up of two big movements. Technically, one big movement. I didn't make it to the end of the one big movement
Oh.
because, you see, Final Fantasy 1 is a game about stats and raising them and grinding and
Uh,
grinding and grinding and grinding. And a couple of hours into the grinding, I went, hey, I'll just go, like, if I really care, I'll just fucking game shortcut.
yeah.
Because, like, grinding to me is the thing that you have with tutorials. The second I have to engage in grinding without my consent, the game is shit. I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, there are some games where I don't mind grinding as much, or I even enjoy grinding. Kingdom Hearts, surprisingly, actually a game that I enjoyed grinding. It took me 2 days of grinding to get to the maximum level, so I can actually challenge the final bosses of the game. I didn't need to grind before that at all, which is
Ah,
probably one of the reasons that I didn't mind grinding as much, and also just the controls are that good, really.
yeah.
But like, beat number going up does nothing for me, as you know.
Right.
And it seems like a lot of the things that's supposed to get you hooked in Final Fantasy 1 is big number going up, and it's also not even big number.
Ah.
Like the pacing to me was just off because it shouldn't like one enemy, one encounter gives you 8 experience. It takes 400 experience points to reach level 2 or something like that. You need to be level 5 or up to actually like attempt to get out of the prologue.
Oh.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Like once again, I'll probably go back to it eventually with Game Shark.
Right.
But yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, like as it is all RPGs, I played through. I tried to play through Final Fantasy 1 with a guide. So it's not even a thing of like, oh, I missed a spot where I was supposed to like get stronger or whatever. Like the game is too open-ended for that to be a good guide on how you should do it exactly. From what
Yeah.
I from what I could tell, and otherwise, like there was just nothing. It literally was just okay. The game starts off pink. Final Fantasy 1 starts off in the Zelda one way. Fuck you, you're in the world. Figure that shit out. All right, cool.
All right, cool.
Like you just spawn in with whatever classes that you decided before the game just dropped you down with money, and that's it. Just you figure it out.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I had to go into town. I bought my shit. There was nothing better I could buy. So I went, okay, cool. I left, and then I grinded, and then the basic enemies killed me. So I
Ooh.
reloaded the save, and then I grinded, and it's been 4 hours. I'm watching a video. I'm grinding on the side while watching the video. I get into a random encounter. I literally cannot win. Like I'm level 4, and the random goblins that I've been killing for the past 4 hours kill me.
This is messed up.
So yeah, that's my Final Fantasy 1 experience. There was a re-release. There was the big story remaster that they released recently. I will buy those because I'm curious about the rest of the series. Because I've played 7 onwards more or less,
Okay.
and I'm curious about the earlier installments, especially since people say that 6 is the best.
Right.
But yeah, which by the way, like I have access to all of these games. Like legitimately, I have access to all of the Final Fantasy games up to 7. Technically more if you count PS Plus.
Ah.
But I have access to the original versions, which don't come with the quality of life stuff that the Pixel Remaster introduced, which I need. Because
Oh.
yeah, we'll get into it later. But yeah, the Pixel Remaster of Final Fantasy 1 allows you to, well, if the Pixel Remasters overall, from what I could tell, just allow you to fuck around with how much experience you get and how much gold you get and all that. And that's the second that I boot that shit up, once I'll buy it, I will put every multiplier up as far as it can go.
Absolutely.
Because I really I like RPGs. One of the JRPGs specifically feel a lot of times feel paced to be time wasters. I don't even know what you'd call Final Fantasy 1 in that light. But yeah, then I beat Final Fantasy 8.
Unbelievable. Is that the one with Ganondorf?
No,
Oh.
maybe I don't know. No, I think well, I actually don't know who you could call Ganondorf in Final Fantasy. Because in a way, none of them have Ganondorf, but also all of them do.
Ah.
So yeah, Final Fantasy VIII was my first Final Fantasy. Overall, it was the
Oh.
first one that I ever played. I
Oh.
had, you know, usually it would this would make people think, oh well, then he has a lot of nostalgia for it, and he'd like it. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I don't like it. Uh So I played Final Fantasy VIII first when I was 7, something like that.
I see.
I played Triple Triad. I played. I had a demo for the PC version, which is how I played it. The demo was literally the prologue of the game, which isn't much. It's like the first hour of the game. You can play
Ah.
once again. You can play Triple Triad. You can see the T-Rex sword, which kills you because it's a boss enemy from the end of the game. But that's not even a joke, Pink. The one of the first enemies you can encounter in the random battles in the game is also an enemy that you can encounter at the end of the game. It will still give you trouble. Nothing has changed.
Well, that's messed up.
Yeah. But yeah, this time I actually finished the game completely because it's on PS Plus, and I wanted to because I played 7, I played 9. You know, I might as well play 8,
Yeah.
especially since I have some nostalgia for it. Oh boy, the junction system. So, Pink, you know those people like the people who like Neo, who really love min maxing.
Oh.
You don't?
I don't.
Well, there's people who really love min maxing. They love crunching numbers and they love doing calculus.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, the junction system was made for them. The junction system is a mechanic where if you understand the junction system, you can break the game so you can beat the final boss of the game at level 1. But
Okay.
it is also a system where if you don't understand it even just a little bit, and I don't mean that as in you don't understand it a little bit. I'm saying that if there's one part of your knowledge that isn't pristine, you don't know what the fuck to do. Like
All
it's
right then.
yeah. I was gonna say that it's kind of like on an Eldritch thing where like I did like in Bloodborne there's this mechanic called Insight, and I understand the junction system somewhat, and I felt like I gained insight when it actually clicked.
Heh.
Because the insight in Bloodborne is how mad the person is, because the more mad they are, the more they can see the cosmic horrors and shit.
Ah.
But yeah, so I felt like I gained insight whenever that shit clicked a bit, and I still don't know what the fuck to do with it.
Okay.
Because you see, if you simplify the junction system a lot, it's just suck the magic out of the enemies so that you can put the magic on your jacket, and your jacket makes it so you punch really hard.
All right then.
That's it. That's it simplified a lot. But to actually do this, you need to spend a lot of time standing in one spot, sucking sucking the magic out of monsters,
All right.
and then you also need to you also need to understand how the menu system works, which isn't too dissimilar to other Final Fantasies, but it's similar. It's different enough that I still got lost in it. So that should tell you something.
Right.
Not to mention that there's this mechanic in the game. One of the characters has a dog. The dog can assist in the fight. You can teach the dog new moves. The game explains to you how you can change which moves the dog is learning so that it can do it in combat. After the tutorial, I never found that where that option is in the menu.
Ah.
I know where it's supposed to be. I remember exactly where it showed me it was, and I spent 20 minutes looking for the option. It wasn't there.
All right then.
So, but yeah, Final Fantasy VIII, you'd hate it because Final Fantasy VIII's prologue, like legitimately probably the entire part that was that was my demo. All of that is tutorials, and not even like fun tutorials where you get to do shit. No, it's videos. It's videos.
No.
It's videos going like, "Hey asshole, if you highlight the attack button, attack hits. If you open up the menu and then you go into the junction system, and then if you put 10 stacks of fire magic on your punch, then it will deal 19 points of fire attack." This is the point. This is why I'm so confused about the junction system thing. Like
Yeah.
it goes from it literally goes from you open up the menu with Y to the junction system is this simple arithmetic, and it just gives you a fucking like the next to solve for pi, and it's the same tutorial. These two new things happen like 5 minutes from each other.
It's messed up.
Yeah, like the tutorial simultaneously has the thing of over explaining simple concepts and under explaining. Well, no, I don't know if I'd call quite under explaining complex concepts, but it is explaining so many things at a similar point in time that none of them stick. Is I think the main issue with it. Because like I grew to understand the junction system throughout the game, and it actually isn't that complex technically. There's parts of it that the game never explained unless you go into the specific tutorials menu tab, which of course why the fuck would I ever hit up? But like there's hidden mechanics like, hey, if you have more magic of this kind, and you slot it onto your jacket or your hair or whatever, then whatever effect it has will increase, and if you use that magic, it goes down.
Right.
This is only explained in the specific tutorials section or in the menu, which once again, if you don't hit up, you'll never see this. I only found out about this mechanic working this way because I read up on shit after I finished the game. But yeah, just by merely like doing stuff the way that I could figure out and observing, I somewhat understood to the junction system by the end.
I think.
But like the first time that I actually went, hey, I understood this concept of this part of the junction system, not the entire junction system, just this part of the junction system. The first time I said that to myself, it was on this 3 of 4.
Impressive.
And then the story. The story is bad. I'd say honestly, like it's a tried and true romance story. Nothing to write home about. It's a romance story.
That's no
then there's and then there's also the B plot, which is magician has come back from the future to kill everyone and become God. You know, normal B plot.
Yeah.
And that's not, we don't really talk about that. Like it becomes a major plot point eventually, but we don't really talk about that. You know, honestly, we don't like we imply stuff, but we don't talk about it. No. There's there's interesting things that they try to set up, but once again, the problem with I had with Wild Arms, is also present here, where like, if I don't care about the characters, I don't care about your story, I don't care about your game.
True.
And like Squall is an asshole. I don't really know what else to call him. He's kind of just like your Dime a Dozen, like mid-90s emo asshole character archetype.
Sure.
Rinoa goes through the Rinoa actually, like, honestly goes through the cookie cutter RPG storyline of, I'm a princess but I want to fight. I will become Fight Princess.
Oh,
and then she does. She becomes Fight Princess. She does.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. And you also have 4 other party members, I want to say. Let's see. Zell, Selfie, Irvine, which I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Irvin, but it's they have an E at the end, so it's funnier for me to say it Irvine.
Yeah.
Who else? Quistis. There we go. Yes, you have 4 other party members. They are also there. They get no character development, or no real character. Honestly, Zell is your generic dumbass sponge boy archetype. He's Ryuji Sakamoto,
Uh-huh.
which says nothing to you, even though I proved it out because it should. The blonde boy from Persona.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I actually know that character.
Okay. Honestly, I wouldn't have blamed you if you didn't remember his name. But yeah, like Zell is just Ryuji Sakamoto, but with a shitty face tattoo. Uh, Quistis, Selfie is Selfie had potential to be an interesting character just because I personally don't see her archetype a lot, which is the dainty little girly also wants to kill people.
Oh,
Like, you know, the archetype where usually she's like the comedic relief, but also she would actually rip someone's balls off.
right.
Because like you know, they planted seeds of that character archetype at the start of the game, where she's like you're going to a place, they're threatening to blow up the place where she used to live, and you're going through the launch base to prevent that, and you couldn't. And then she just goes, "Oh well, I'll just blow it up," and then she does.
Yeah. Logical.
Yeah. But yeah, uh, Irvine, Irvine is a plot tool. He's there to like have a reason at the end of disc 1 for the team to fail, and that's it. That's all of that. And also, I guess he's also there to free you from prison at one time. But that's all
Right.
of his plot developments. Like he doesn't really have a character. Well, no, he has a character, but his character is his character is his character is that he's American. I love guns and I love women.
Yeah.
And that's his character, and he never grows past this. He never like gains a third interest. He never like talks about stuff. Honestly, other than that, it's just guns or women.
Very American.
Yeah, and yeah, I had a similar issue with Valorant and also Final Fantasy 9, where like, you know, I don't really care about any of these characters. With Final Fantasy 9 at least, I cared about Vivi, which is more than I can say for this game.
Fair.
But yeah, with this game, it was like, well, I don't really care about like the whole love story. I don't really care about like Squall growing as a person. Also, or at least he does though. Or like the rest of the cast, who we just didn't give a shit about, I guess. Like him and Reno have all of the character development, and no one else. And yeah, like I didn't care about Squall or Reno developing all that much. I didn't care about the side characters because they weren't side characters. Honestly, the world was sort of interesting, but it was also a bit too. We'll get into that shortly. And yeah, like I pretty much just finished Final Fantasy VIII, so I could say, hey, I finished Final Fantasy VIII, and I also like saw the ending without having to YouTube it, pretty much.
Well, nice.
But yeah, the world. Now, Final Fantasy has 3 settings that it likes. It has medieval, it has futuristic, and it has a blend of the two where you can have medieval elements in a futuristic setting, or vice versa. Which I don't know if I want to count as two separate setting types or not.
Good question.
Now I like the settings where it's mostly futuristic but also has medieval elements, like Final Fantasy VII, for example. For me, it has that, where it's a steampunk aesthetic where like technology isn't quite sci-fi, but some elements of it are close to sci-fi. But it's still kind of low tech, and people are still using swords with a reason for the most
Yeah.
part. But then again, I remember, hey, Barret has a gun for an arm,
Nah.
and but still, uh, yeah, Final Fantasy Seven had an aesthetic that I liked. Final Fantasy Nine was the other way around, where it was mostly medieval, but also had some steampunk stuff in it. I was fine with that too. I didn't enjoy it as much because I like the more futuristic. Like the further away we are from medieval stuff, the better for me. Just because like I hate the medieval setting. I think it's cliched. It's overdone.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that nothing in a medieval setting can be good, but it would have to be really good for me to actually acknowledge it as such, because like shit, it's just so like medieval settings for role playing stuff is just so boring.
Right.
uh, but yeah, and then there's futuristic stuff, which Final Fantasy 8 is futuristic, and so is 13, and both of those games are bad. But
Yeah.
I can't really say that because 8 isn't 8 is very divisive, and 13, I haven't played 13, so I can't actually have an opinion on it, a proper one anyway. But yeah, like Final Fantasy 8 was just sci-fi for the most part. It had some like ideas about magic, but it was sci-fi magic, where it wasn't really that magic existed as much as we have technology that works like magic, so it might as well be magic, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, 8, I understand why people don't like the futuristic stuff as much, because I didn't enjoy 8 as much as I did 7 either. But still, I kind of prefer it over more medieval stuff, because at least I had a reason to play it, because it wasn't medieval stuff.
Yeah.
Now on to the good, because 8 has those as well. 8
Does
was
it?
the last, yes, 8 was the last PS1 of Final Fantasy, which is important because on the PS1 there were hardware limitations that made it so they had to use a full motion video backgrounds and sprites on top of it, or polygons on top of it, or whatever. But it was, they couldn't use full 3D what you call it, like environments.
Yeah.
So they had to work with what they had. What this led to is a very interesting game design, in my opinion, where it's cinematic camera shots that sometimes pan, but sometimes not. Like all survival horror games, with hand drawn backgrounds that you can
Oh
interact with.
yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes if something that you interact with in the background has to move, then a part of the background or the whole background turns into a video. And you can see clearly when it turns into a video, because a lot of artifacts will immediately just come into existence. But regardless, it's a very of the time way of presentation. I understand why they moved past it. I wish they wouldn't have. I like it a lot. Like it's one of the things where like I don't have any real nostalgia for like PS1 graphics or whatever, but or like early polygon shit all that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But there is like the neat ways that people figured out to use sprites and polygons at the same time, and the stuff the way that the limitations allowed them to be creative. I like those. Like I liked Strider being 2.5D because it was neat the way that Strider 2 used a 3D space with 2D sprites, and similarly, Final Fantasy using video, full motion video for set pieces on sprite backgrounds that were hand drawn is a style that hasn't been replicated since, as far as I'm aware.
I can't think of any examples.
It also like there was also this thing where they would sometimes keep it depends on the game, but they would keep the aesthetic of the pre-rendered cutscenes. They would keep the aesthetic similar to what the game can actually do uh in gameplay. So the transition between cutscene and gameplay would be seamless, and just walking into a cutscene trigger, not realizing it, and the game just like even today, just getting to a point where I don't notice that the game is actually playing a cutscene because it looks so close to it in gameplay. It was still uh surprising, and I guess like I can't really find a better way. I've been trying to think of a better way to put it, but like mind blowing in a way. Like it's one of those things where like a lot of times you go back to older games and you might be able to see how they did things that were very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Innovative. There we go. Innovative for the time.
Yeah.
But even then, like you run into the Beatles wasn't funny.
Right.
Think of like, well, they did all of that innovation, and it innovated so much that it became the norm. But because of how Final Fantasy and other RPGs develop, that sort of stuff with the backgrounds isn't commonplace anymore. And while some seamless transitions between cutscene and gameplay aren't anything new, the fact that they did it with the
Yeah.
PlayStation 1
Yeah.
and to that effect, like it's still one of those things when I go, fuck, I get it. I understand now. Like so like, I can't go back and play like Quake 1 and understand why people enjoyed Quake 1 after Doom, even though Doom was my first FPS. So if anything, I should have a point of reference. But like I can't understand it in the same context that people would have back then. But this I can because it had the same effect on me.
Right.
And that's basically all of the good things. There's one thing in presentation that Final Fantasy 7 started and then 8 ended. No, actually 9 ended. I'm wrong. 9 ended it. Which is a shame because like once again, like if an indie game came out and it had the quality of life features like being able to just not fight, like the remakes of those old PS1 Final Fantasy games, like that I would probably get it because this is like once again, this is not a thing that I see anymore, and since we're in an age where one of the trends is emulating styles of times past. Like I don't see why someone wouldn't take this up aside from maybe budget.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how many indie games have come out where literally all of the game is hand drawn? So at that point, like I don't see why it would be so daunting to think that someone on an indie budget would be able to make an RPG where it uses polygons, which are you know what you call it, like more cost effective nowadays to make. Use 3D models for the player characters and hand drawn backgrounds, like hand painted, I guess technically, because the Final Fantasy ones would have been painted. I think I can't tell. It's hard to tell with the digitized graphics because they certainly weren't hand drawn. But I also don't know if they would have actually paid someone in the 90s to paint all of those fucking frames.
Right.
uh, so yeah. So that's 8. Then I played Final Fantasy X, a bit of it, because people say the Final Fantasy X is also one of the best ones. Like
How dare
the
they?
I've been looking at people discussing that stuff recently, and it's like the top 3 are like a 4-way between 7, 8, 6, and 10. Which, like, I just got not talking about 8 and oh boy. But yeah. 10, I can understand why people would have fond memories for it already because, well, for one, the hook was already more interesting than 8 in the sense that there actually seems to be shit happening in the story. Wow.
Unbelievable.
But also, it's the last game that utilized the small bits of the design from the PS1 games. Because Final Fantasy 8, or not 8, Final Fantasy 10 was on the PS2. They didn't need to do the hand-drawn backgrounds anymore, which is a shame. Because the new 3D model backgrounds, while I'm sure looked better to people around the time, maybe, they didn't age that well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things, I guess, where, like, the hand painted or drawn or who knows graphics for the PS1 games technically look worse in the sense that the early digitization, early whatever the hell, like, less processing power, it just looks worse objectively. But at the same time, it has more style to it than everything being polygons. Well, everything being early polygons anyway, which is the important bit, I guess.
Right.
Either which way, yeah, 10 is the last one that utilizes the whole uh like fixed camera cinematic shots. It feels kind of like a sort of horror game thing.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one of those things where, like, I saw it and I went, okay, I get it. Like, I don't need to play the game. I don't need to finish the game. I now understand why people like this. That's also one of the things that makes me somewhat enjoy these games, even though I like it. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know if I say that I'm a fan of Final Fantasy because, like, I don't really enjoy playing them all that much. I just think they're neat sometimes. Like, so some of their ideas are neat, but then, like, I don't know how much I'll enjoy the earlier ones than 7 because they don't have the cinematic camera shots that I like about 7. And the games after 10 also don't have the cinematic camera shots that I like about 7. So, you know, I think Pink is dead. He
No,
has
no, I'm
died.
just trying to
Okay.
comprehend it all.
Ah. What can I compare it to? I don't know. Pink, have you played any Resident Evils?
Not for very long.
Have you played any of the first 2?
No.
Shit. Which one did you play? Was it 4?
4.
Ah. 4 was the one that did away with it. I'm gonna assume you didn't play any of the Silent Hills.
Nope.
I don't know what I can compare it to. Did you play God of War?
Yes, the first one.
Okay, that works. So you know how sometimes God of War would have these bits where you can't move the camera, it would just be a cinematic shot, and you had to navigate with the cinematic shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy used to do that, but every screen was that.
Oh.
And while it might sound bad, because sometimes it can be a pain in the ass, it also lend itself to some interesting shots that you couldn't get with a player camera or with any other setup that isn't a fixed camera angle shot. Like, for example, in 8, there's a part where you have to walk through a spaceship, and one of the in one of the screens, to keep it from being boring, because you have to walk through very similar looking corridors a lot. So one of the corridors, the shot is from the ceiling,
Oh. Well,
just to keep it
that's
interesting.
yeah.
Just to keep it interesting and to make it so you can tell the corridors apart. Like, you couldn't get the same effect nowadays with a 3D camera because they would have to make the corridors look the same, but they can't put one of the cameras on the ceiling because you have to be in control of the camera. Like, once again, it's one of those things where, like, I understand it might sound bad when I just lay it out like this, but when when you consider it less of a more much more, like, when you consider it less from a gameplay perspective and more of a presentation perspective, it's good. It's better than what they did later, in my opinion, just because it has a certain style to it that isn't there in a lot of games nowadays.
Hmm.
And it's also why I don't really complain about these things happening in God of War or like Assassin's Creed whenever it would have the one cinematic camera shot
Yeah, yeah.
once every 20 minutes. Because to me that's just an innate part of trying to trying to tell a story is that you need to show some things the way that you want them to be shown. And if that means that you have to take the control away from the player when it comes to the camera, well, depending on the game, that might suck. But so sometimes you have to do it, which is why it's also one of those things where like I think Final Fantasy it's better in Final Fantasy and like early Resident Evil or Silent Hill than it is in God of War or Assassin's Creed because God of War and Assassin's Creed aren't designed around that. Final Fantasy and those early horror games are. Like if the entire game is built around the idea that you will be able to look into this room from only this one spot, then you have to make sure that you can fucking see things from that one spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, but yeah, 10 is the last one to do that. It's also the last game to be truly turn based. Because the newer Final Fantasies have decided to be turn cringe.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, but yeah, it's less properly turn based game before they tried to do the active battle system, and boy, we'll get to that too. And yeah, I played like literally introduction of 10. I liked it. I need to actually dedicate time to this. This seems good. At least comparatively to like 8.
Yeah.
Then, currently, I am still playing Final Fantasy 12.
That's the worst one.
Oh, but you're wrong. I've seen a lot of people say that Final Fantasy 12 is the best one, and those people are fucking wrong. But now it depends on what you count for being the best one. Like Final Fantasy 12 has the most busy work. But if literally content for the sake of content is what you describe as quality, then this game is quality.
The highest of quality.
Yeah. Now, Final Fantasy 12 was the first game that they made after they made an MMORPG. It shows. The entire design of the game, the UI, the way you interact with the world, the way you look at shit, the way the combat is very MMORPG.
Ah.
So I've not really been enjoying it. To cut things short,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 12 is actually a game that I own on the PS2. I own the original version.
Oh.
I have it on disc. I could take a picture of it right now. I won't, but I could. But yeah, I got to fairly deep in when I played through it when I tried to play through it the second time on the PS2 version. I got like I want to say halfway through the second section of 4 of the game. But then the disc reader in my PS2 broke.
Oh.
Because it too hates Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
I have no other reasons that it could have gone wrong. But yeah, okay. The active battle system sucks dick for one, but yeah, it's them trying to make a turn-based battle system closer to action games because not turn-based isn't everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Turn-based isn't my cup of tea technically. I like it better than I do this shit. Fuck this shit. It sucks. It's like the worst parts of an active battle system and a turn-based battle system. Because you still have to wait for your character to do the move, but you can walk around.
Oh.
That's it. Like all this means is that sometimes my normal attack takes, like the 2 seconds that it actually takes to cast to attack, and sometimes it takes 8 because my character still needs to walk towards the enemy
I see.
and stuff like that. And these are problems that you will have in an RPG, on a MMORPG to be exact. I played too much WoW to not associate these sorts of gameplay interactions with MMORPGs. But yeah, also, I hate all of these people. I don't care about any of them. Vaughn actually sucks actively. Vaughn is the protagonist, by the way. Like
That's
you are.
fair. It, the
But
is the protagonist someone that sucks, or is that or
yes,
oh, okay, fair enough.
yeah. Like once again, it's a thing of it's the same problem with Final Fantasy VIII, where like most of these characters thus far haven't had a whole lot of character development. Like one guy was supposed to kill Vaughn's brother. Turns out it wasn't him. It was his twin brother who actually exists. I swear. He also has a girlfriend, but he goes to a different school. Or she,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, hate when that
No, but
happens.
but yeah, no. Like allegedly, he actually does have a twin brother. I think that might have already killed his twin brother by now. I can't tell. There's 3 characters that look exactly like him. No, it's hard to tell who's supposed to be his twin brother. Oh no, wait, no. Okay, I didn't kill his twin brother. I killed the guy who looks like his exact clone, but with black hair.
Oh, see, that makes so much more sense.
Who wasn't his twin brother?
That we're aware of.
Whereas his twin brother has short hair, but also looks like his exact clone, and it also has black hair. Not confusing at all. No,
Oh no, I'm following along with no issue here.
but yeah. So there's that guy in the group. There's Vaughn, who is the protagonist. He's here. That's his character. He's here.
Oh,
Vaughn is here.
is he though?
There's also Penelope, not Penelope. Penelope. She,
Penelo.
yeah, she's also here because Vaughn is here.
Okay.
These are the characters that you're introduced to immediately. These are the characters you're supposed to care about.
Okay.
They're here. That's their contribution. Oh, there's the 2 sky pirates that pick you up. One of them you'd love. She's a she's a body titty girl wearing lingerie who's also a ninja.
I like it.
But yeah, the sky pirate dude likes money, and bunny titty girl is also a mystic. That's their
Ah,
characters. But it's fine because you see, the bunnies are high elves, but also all of them are mystics. It's fine.
right.
But yeah, yeah, I don't care about any of these people. Oh yeah, there's also Amelia. She. Well, actually, her name is Ash. Amelia is the fake name that she gives out at the start of the game, and I don't know how I remember it.
Heh.
Whatever, Amelia. Uh, she's the princess. She wants to be fight princess. There you go.
Oh no.
So yeah, that's your cast for this game. As you can tell, I hold them dearly.
Yeah. Most dearly.
So yeah. So one of the things that this game introduced to Final Fantasy was macros. I'm actually lying. That was probably 11 that introduced them, but this game has them for some fucking reason. The battle system. So the interactive battle system has this thing called gambits. Gambits are not suave French people who know how to blow up cards, sadly. But instead, gambits are macros. You can turn them on or off. If you turn them off, you will hit the game. If you turn them on, the game plays the game for itself. You just have to program the characters to do things in a sequential order, and they will.
Okay.
Like with a bit of finesse. and thanks to the game's default programming, like you can program the characters to do whatever the fuck you want, more or less, in a combat situation, and they will, and you don't have to touch the any of the commands.
Okay.
Like you only have to do it rarely. I've beaten. I'm halfway through the game. There has been exactly one fight where I had to issue commands for the characters. It was a boss fight. It was a boss fight that I was under leveled for.
All right then.
So that should tell you about how much the just programming these characters takes you. Like I haven't genuinely actually fought random encounters since I started the game, because once again, programming takes care of that shit. I literally have it set so whenever there's an enemy on screen, these guys just attack them constantly, and then if one of them is close to dying, they heal themselves up. That's it. That's all I have programmed, and it's been getting me through half of the game. I am legitimately halfway through the game.
Impressive.
And that's all I've done. I've spent the entire day today thus far grinding because I was once again under level for that boss, and while you know, while I complain about the gambits making it so I don't have to interact with the battle mechanic, I also don't want to interact with the battle mechanic because it's worse.
Fair.
Like my choices are the game plays itself, or I have to interact with something horrible. Like I read. I much rather have the game play itself. Thank you.
Understandable.
And like legitimately, it's one of those things where I have to. All I have to control is I have to control the characters when they're idle, and when there's a fight, when an enemy spawns, they immediately lock on, and I can walk around this shit if I want to. But why would I? The game walks there for me, attacks them automatically for me. Like literally, all I need to do is like maybe once every couple hundred of levels, I go and fuck around with the programming to make it so they won't die. But I haven't even done that. And like programming expressions are things that you can buy in the shop. I have bought all of them. I just need the slots because there's these slots that you need to set up, and it's not thankfully it's not a proper programming language where it's like if blank then blank or else blank or whatever. Like it's not a proper programming language like that. It's just let's say Vaughn, the protagonist guy. I have it set up so ally if HP is under 30%, use a potion. If MP is under 30%, use Ether. If an ally is nearly dead, use High Potion. If an ally is dead, use Phoenix Down, which revives them.
Right.
Otherwise, if an enemy is near, then attack nearest visible or if otherwise specified, party leader's target. Which party leader's target is what I would set.
Okay.
So it's really just if I tell all of you to attack this one guy, you attack that one guy. Otherwise, attack whoever the fuck you see. I don't care. If you're close to dying, heal up. That's it.
All right.
I've beaten half of the game with just this. So yeah.
Yeah.
And like the original version of Final Fantasy 12 was worse because you couldn't even open up the treasure the boxes, because if you open up too many boxes, the best weapon in the game despawns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
now that was fixed by the PS2, thankfully. Like it wasn't a thing where that it's a PS4 or a new release exclusive thing. That they fixed it. Like I already have the version of it that got it fixed in whatchamacallit. Shit. But yeah, like it did. What was I gonna say? Shit. Yeah, it's not a PS4 exclusive feature that got it fixed where it doesn't just disappear. Instead, they removed it outright, I think, from the place it used to be, and so I don't know how you get it anymore, but whatever. But yeah, like I could have in theory been fine opening any treasure chest on the PS2 as well, because once again I had the version of it that was already patched somehow. Even though people all of the guys that I've looked at, they have acted like the The PS2 version is always the vanilla, and the PS4 version is always Zodiac Age, which it is. But I have a PS2 copy of Zodiac Age. So whatever. Either which way, yeah. This game stinks. Like I'll beat it because I own a copy, physically. Honestly, that I have no other drive to do it. It's I own a copy of it, so I might as well. And and also like I have access to it, I might as well. So those are my two driving things that are keeping me playing this game.
Fair enough.
That I guess also like I don't have to look for other games,
Yeah.
which helps. But yeah, once I'm done with this one, I'll go and actually finish 10, which actually seems good. Contrary to this. And then I don't know. I'll like I will probably like I don't know because I could go back to the NES ones and whatever, like actually play through the copies of the earlier games that I own. But I don't know if I wanna do that or if I wanna wait to buy the big story masters. Because if I do it like as it is right now, then I have to go to Game Shark. I have to find codes for Game Shark and shit, and like that's a hassle.
Yeah.
Whereas uh whereas the Pixel remasters already come with the Game Shark codes, and then I can turn them off faster than actually putting in Game Shark codes, because I don't know about your experience with that shit, but mine is that you need to reset the game.
I've never used Game Shark before.
Ah. See, I've only ever used it digitally. I didn't have a Game Shark. I couldn't have a Game Shark cartridge because those shit like that shit only worked on official Nintendo stuff, and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the emulators that I use have Game Shark, usually either Game Shark or Game Genie
Ah.
built in, and they're more or less the same thing. It's basically like you have to input the hex code if that says anything to you. You have to input the hex code to replace in the coding, and it just fucks around with the coding more or less.
Ah.
And like some people wrote little extensions to the code, so it's like it replaces like this byte or this byte, that byte, I guess, and it makes it so you can't die.
I
Or
see.
it makes it so you always deal 1,000 damage, or 9,999 damage or whatever. And that seems like cheating to some people, because it is. But no, but like that also the other remakes that Square has officially made, they recontextualize them for me, but because I played through Final Fantasy VII properly. Like I actually played through Final Fantasy VII the way it was released on the PS1. Because I own a copy of Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. And I enjoyed it. But also, the remaster that's on PS4 allows me to just make it so I always deal maximum amount of damage, and I can pretty much not die. I mean, technically I can still die, but not really.
Right.
And if I have those options, I might as well, because that makes my playthrough that much faster. And like once again, like I'm not one of those freaks who plays JRPGs for the gameplay.
How
I
dare
don't
you?
understand. Uh, but yeah, so that's Final Fantasy, I guess.
Is it though? Was it final?
No, I mean they're on the 16th one. You think that they would run out of fantasies?
Right? What gives?
16 is also one where I look at. I haven't even seen it. I've been trying to avoid it, but like I thought about getting it because it allegedly plays like Devil May Cry.
Ha! That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's the weirdest shit. Yakuza became an RPG series, and to take its place, Final Fantasy became a beat 'em up.
That's
Explain that
interesting.
shit. It did. And like they've already been trying to move into that direction with 15, but 15 was not the best. Oh yeah, I'm also probably gonna play through 15 because I didn't mind it. I I may not be one of those people who plays JRPGs for gameplay, But I am one of those freaks who didn't mind Final Fantasy 15. But what? Well, the 2 hours or 3 hours of it that I've played, which that the biggest complaint seems to be a whole lot of nothing to do, which I wouldn't be able to experience by then. So
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I will probably play through 15 as well. But yeah, 16 is also PS5 exclusive and maybe Xbox One. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But yeah, that means that I could only get it get it once I get the PS5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been hearing good things about it, but once again, it's also a medieval game and
Yeah.
So Pink,
Yes.
I think we can call it a podcast.
I do believe we could call that a podcast if you really wanted to.
All right, well,
Can't believe he finaled all the fantasies.
yeah. I'm trying to think of a shitty quote that I could make you say from the games, but I don't actually know. I didn't pay enough attention during 8. Because it's a lot of the dialogue. There's a lot of the sticky dialogue isn't like Kingdom Hearts, where it makes it's funny in context too, but it makes at least a bit of sense. The dialogue that's stinky in these games only makes sense in context, but in context it's not funny.
Right.
Like the funniest line that I can think of for Final Fantasy is the one from 7 that either was or will be removed in remake. I don't remember if the part was already in remake. I think it was, because they have Tifa. You know, I don't know if I'd call the Tifa dainty. She's Sponge Girl, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like they have Tifa just drop a slur
Oh my.
for no real reason.
Oh wait, yeah, I think I've seen images of that.
So yeah, I played the version of the game that came with the slur, and I saw it. I saw it. And there's going up that way is supposed to be a punishment if memory serves. If you don't do whatever fast enough, then you have then as punishment you have to go through the stairs, which prompts the dialogue.
Oh.
But I completely forgot about the dialogue being in the game, and then I saw it and I laughed because you don't expect it. What else are you supposed to do?
Right.
But yeah. Oh yeah. I guess for 12 to close it out, I guess, even though I've already closed it out. So I've been grinding all day, yeah?
Yeah.
The boss that I was under level for was level 20. The characters that I use actively right now are level 38.
Cool.
Yeah. I've been grinding a bit.
Sounds like it.
So Pink, what are your opinions on using the Earth's life force for electricity?
I think it's a necessary step that mankind needs to take.
All right. See you in the Shira factory, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. Fuck it. I just got the podcast.